Tonight, we step quietly into the hidden world of women in feudal Japan. From the fragile first cries of a newborn girl to the quiet dignity of old age. From the struggles of peasant wives in muddy fields to the elegance of court ladies writing secret poems. From arranged marriages and perilous childbirth to moments of resilience, artistry, and even power, their lives unfold in silence, in ritual, in memory. Stay with me as we drift through 50 gentle scenes, a long journey through centuries of duty, hardship, and quiet strength. If you find peace in these whispers of history, remember to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more sleep time journeys through forgotten worlds. The night wraps softly around a quiet village in feudal Japan. Paper walls shiver gently with the touch of the evening wind, carrying the faint scent of wet earth and burning wood. Inside a small wooden home, a mother leans over her newborn daughter, her fingers trembling as they brush the fine hair that has not yet known the sun. The child's first cry pierces the silence, small, fragile, a sound that seems almost hesitant, as if she herself is unsure of belonging to this world. Yet, the sound does not bring the usual chorus of celebration. No banners wave. No father's hearty laugh echoes through the beams of the house. The elder's eyes, lined with years of tradition and expectation, are heavy. They whisper, their voices low, measured, "A girl, perhaps next time, a son will come." The weight of disappointment hangs in the air like smoke, curling and twisting around the soft glow of the lamp. A daughter in feudal Japan is a shadow at birth, a being whose life is measured not by her own presence but by the absence of a son. She is a gift and a burden at once, welcomed with warmth by a mother's heart, yet diminished by the culture that surrounds her. Her body, small and untested, holds within it centuries of expectation, to obey, to serve, to marry, to bear sons, to preserve honor without ever questioning the cost. The midwife watches, her hands steady, her eyes tracing the curve of the child's small fists, the rise and fall of her chest beneath the swaddling cloth. She has seen this scene countless times. A girl born, cherished quietly, yet forever standing in the shadow of sons. She knows the roads this child may walk, roads of obedience, of labor, of silent endurance. And yet, somewhere in her gaze, there is a whisper of hope, fragile and fleeting, that this little life, however undervalued, may find its own strength, its own quiet power. Outside, the village slumbers beneath the gentle sweep of the moon. Rice fields lie still, their shoots bending beneath the night air. Mountains rise like ancient sentinels, indifferent to the fates of human children. And yet, inside this small home, a life begins, small, fragile, but insistently present. A life that will endure through hardship, through rigid expectations, through pain and joy alike. The mother wraps her arms more tightly around her daughter, her lips barely moving as she whispers a prayer. May she live, may she endure, may she one day find her place in a world that does not yet know her worth. Her heartbeat slows, matching the soft rhythm of the child's breathing. Outside, the wind hums a lullaby, and the night, patient and eternal, cradles them both. This is the beginning of a journey shaped by the unseen hands of culture, by the heavy weight of expectation, and by the small, stubborn pulse of life that insists upon being. A journey that will carry this girl from the warmth of her mother's arms into the fields of labor, the halls of power, and the hidden spaces of resistance. It begins here, in silence, in shadow, with a cry that the world may barely hear, but that signals the first breath of endurance, the first flicker of resilience. And so she lies, small and quiet, beneath the dim lamp, her eyes closed, her tiny fists resting against her chest. The night stretches on, soft, endless, patient. And with each passing moment, she grows, in body, in spirit, in the quiet power that will, in time, define her life in ways the world cannot yet imagine. The morning light drifts softly through the paper windows, painting pale stripes across the tatami mats. The newborn girl stirs, her tiny hands curling and uncurling, her breaths shallow and uncertain. Outside, the village wakes slowly, the crowing of a distant rooster, the faint rustle of bamboo, the whisper of wind across tiled roofs. Inside, however, the house is wrapped in quiet contemplation, a weight that presses gently but firmly upon every heart. In this world, a son is the pulse of continuity. He is the one who will inherit, who will bear the family name through seasons of war and harvest alike. A daughter, she is seen as transient, an echo that will pass from one household to another, her value measured not in her own life but in the dowry she may bring, in the service she may offer another family. Even before she opens her eyes fully, the world has already carved her path, her presence shaped by a culture that favors strength in the form of men. Her mother's hands linger on the child's small back, tracing the curve of her spine, imagining the years to come. She has walked this path herself, once a girl bound by expectation, a life circumscribed by the invisible lines of obedience. She knows the loneliness that comes with being undervalued, the quiet ache of being overlooked. Yet she whispers into her daughter's ear a soft song, a prayer carried on breath and heartbeat. You are enough. You are strong. One day, you will know your own power. The father's gaze is distant, focused on duties, on plans, on the hope of a son who might arrive next season. He does not yet see the tiny life before him as whole, only as part of a larger scheme of inheritance and legacy. Even so, within the dim corners of the room, the girl's existence quietly asserts itself, a small insistence of life that refuses to be erased. Across the village, traditions hum like a constant undertone. Neighbors whisper of children, of sons and daughters, of what is to come and what should be. A girl is watched more closely, measured by her ability to endure, to obey, to fit quietly into the rhythm of expectation. Her cries are softer, her triumphs quieter, her failures noted in subtle nods or sighs. And yet, beneath the surface, a spark simmers, the first glimmer of resilience, of an inner life that belongs to her alone. Even the wind seems to recognize the tension, brushing against the eaves in a slow, lingering rhythm. The bamboo grove outside sways gently, a silent witness to the lives of those within the walls. No one sees the invisible thread forming between mother and daughter, the thread of protection, of hope, of whispered defiance that will carry her through years of hardship. The girl's life, though small now, is already woven into the intricate tapestry of duty, of gender, of societal expectation. She will grow beneath the shadow of preference, measured against absent brothers, yet carrying within her the quiet strength to endure, to survive, to someday leave a mark that is entirely her own. And as the light lengthens across the room, brushing the child's face with warmth, the first gentle promise of possibility unfurls, unseen, unspoken, but real. The dawn creeps slowly across the village, soft and hesitant, brushing the wooden beams with pale gold. Inside the home, the newborn girl lies swaddled, her tiny fists twitching as she dreams in half-light. Yet, in this world of rice fields, mountain shrines, and ancient tradition, not all children are destined to survive. Some lives, fragile and new, are quietly erased before they have a chance to leave even a whisper of memory. In feudal Japan, the preference for sons sometimes casts a long, dark shadow over daughters. Families, weighed down by poverty, by societal expectation, by the relentless pressure to produce male heirs, sometimes choose to end the lives of girls shortly after birth. The act is silent, unseen, unspoken, a tragedy carried in the hearts of mothers and midwives alike. The cries of a daughter may be stifled, her care measured, her nourishment insufficient, all under the veil of necessity and duty. The mother, cradling her child, knows the fear that hangs in every household where survival is bound to custom. She rocks her daughter gently, whispering prayers to the gods and ancestors, her lips trembling as she pledges love even in the shadow of loss. Around her, the midwife moves with practiced care, her hands steady but her heart heavy, understanding the countless small tragedies that fill the silent corners of villages and homes. Every swaddle, every touch, is an act of protection, an effort to claim space for life where society may offer none. The father may never see this tension, focused instead on the household's honor, the land, the promise of sons yet to come. Yet within the walls, every heartbeat is a defiance, a life asserting its right to exist despite the unrelenting weight of tradition. Even the smallest breath, the faintest flutter of eyelids, becomes an act of resistance, a declaration that life will persist, quietly, softly, against expectation. Outside, the world continues in indifferent beauty. Mist clings to the rice paddies, dew sparkles on leaves, and the mountains loom in silent witness. The natural world does not judge, does not favor sons over daughters, does not choose which lives to honor. Yet humans, bound by rigid customs, act with fear, with hope, with sorrow, creating tragedies that remain largely unspoken, hidden behind paper walls and whispered prayers. And so, the girl sleeps, wrapped in the delicate warmth of her mother's arms. Her presence is fragile, her future uncertain, yet there is a small, stubborn light within her, a pulse that refuses to be erased. In this quiet room, amidst shadows and the lingering weight of expectation, the possibility of life continues to shimmer, delicate and enduring. Though the world may not celebrate her, though her very survival may hang by the thinnest of threads, she breathes. And that breath, soft and steady, is the first of many small victories in a life that will face hardship, expectation, and limitation, yet still hold the potential for resilience, quiet defiance, and enduring strength. The girl has survived her first days, her tiny limbs stretching beneath the gentle folds of her swaddling cloth. Morning light filters softly through the paper walls, illuminating the subtle lines of her mother's hands as they brush over her hair. Already, without words, without ceremony, lessons begin. For in feudal Japan, a girl's life is shaped from the earliest breath, molded by expectation, by duty, by the invisible threads of tradition. Even as she coos and blinks at the pale light, she is being taught. Her mother hums quietly, showing her the folds of a cloth, the gentle ways to handle a brush, the rhythms of sweeping and tidying. These are not play, not mere amusement. They are the first lessons in obedience, in precision, in the quiet art of surviving in a world that measures a woman by service and compliance. Each motion, each repeated gesture, becomes a seed, planting the understanding that her life will revolve around the care of others, the maintenance of household harmony, the subtle, unspoken duties that define her existence. The father watches from a distance, his attention divided between the land, the household's honor, and the hope of future sons. He rarely touches her, rarely speaks her name aloud, yet his presence casts a silent shape over the girl's world. She learns quickly that value is measured by approval, by recognition, by a whisper of acknowledgement from those who hold power in her life. Sisters, if they exist, become companions in this slow education of duty. They share soft lessons in sewing, in preparing meals, in learning to bow at the right angles, in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Even play is measured, rhythmically guiding the girl toward the expectations of adulthood. She learns, without complaint, that her small hands must serve, that her small voice must be gentle, that her small steps must follow paths others lay before her. The mother's whispers are the girl's first taste of solace, gentle reassurances that even within the confines of expectation, there can be love, there can be tenderness, there can be small moments of choice, fleeting as they may be. The child begins to understand that the world values her not for her presence alone, but for her ability to fulfill the roles demanded of her. And within this understanding, subtle awareness grows, a recognition that life is not only given, but shaped, and that endurance will be her closest companion. Outside, the wind moves through the bamboo grove, carrying with it the scent of earth and water. The mountains stand like ancient guardians, unchanging and silent, indifferent to human preference. And yet, within the quiet wooden home, the girl learns the first rhythm of her existence. To move, to serve, to learn, to observe, and to survive quietly within a world that will rarely see her as equal. Her journey has begun. In every fold of cloth, in every lesson in obedience, in every whispered word of guidance, she is being prepared for the life she must lead, a life of service, endurance, and subtle, quiet strength. And as the sun rises higher, spilling warm light across her face, there is in her a small, persistent spark, a spark that will, in time, carry her through the many trials, joys, and hidden triumphs of a life lived in shadow and light. The house is quiet, filled only with the gentle rustle of the wind against the paper walls and the distant murmur of the village stirring to life. A mother leans close to her daughter, whose eyes are still too small to take in the shapes of the world, yet already beginning to see the patterns of care and attention. Her voice is soft, barely a whisper, yet it carries weight, intention, and guidance. It is in these whispers that the first seeds of obedience are planted, tender and subtle, yet destined to shape a lifetime. "See," the mother murmurs, brushing the child's tiny fingers along the smooth folds of cloth, "the world will ask much of you. It will ask for your hands, for your care, for your silence when it is needed, for your gentle smile when it pleases others. You must listen first, speak only when it is safe, move carefully, always carefully, and observe, always observe." The girl's small body presses into the warmth of her mother's arms. Even though she cannot yet understand the words, her tiny mind absorbs the rhythm, the tone, the intention. She learns that love is entwined with instruction, that protection comes with guidance, and that survival in this world is often quiet and patient. The mother continues, her words soft as drifting clouds, carrying lessons both practical and invisible. "Your life will be measured in service, in devotion, in the strength of your patience. The smallest misstep will be noted, the gentlest disobedience remembered. And yet, within these bounds, you may find your own ways to endure, to shine quietly, to keep your heart alive even when the world asks much from it." Outside, the morning sun stretches over the village rooftops, casting a gentle glow across the rice paddies. Children's laughter drifts faintly from neighboring homes, but within this small room, a different rhythm beats, one of preparation, of silent shaping, of a life slowly being taught to navigate the currents of expectation. The girl's heartbeat aligns with her mother's voice, with the gentle sway of her arms, with the invisible lessons etched into the quiet corners of the room. As days pass, these whispers continue. They guide the child's hands as they grasp at soft toys, at simple tools, at fragments of the world she will soon have to understand and serve. They teach the angles of bows, the patience required for sewing, the attentiveness demanded by even the smallest household duties. And all the while, they shape her mind, her body, her spirit, quietly and insistently, so that when the world calls, she will be ready to meet it, measured, precise, obedient, yet quietly enduring. The mother's whisper is more than instruction. It is protection. It is a map of survival. It is a gentle tether that keeps the child safe while the world beyond the walls remains indifferent, rigid, and often harsh. And so the girl grows beneath this tender guidance, absorbing rhythm and instruction as naturally as breath. Her small fists curl and uncurl, her eyes blink slowly, her tiny body rests in perfect stillness. Within the silence and the warmth of her mother's presence, she begins the long, quiet training that will carry her through the years to come. A life shaped by obedience, tempered by care, and underlined by a subtle, enduring resilience that not even the strictest traditions can wholly extinguish. The morning air drifts softly through the wooden lattice windows, carrying the faint scent of wet earth and simmering rice from neighboring homes. The girl, now a little older, sits on the tatami mat, her small fingers fumbling with strands of thread, her eyes fixed with concentration. Her mother watches closely, correcting, guiding, praising softly, every word a gentle rhythm in the ongoing melody of education, every motion a careful shaping of skill and patience. In feudal Japan, a girl's mastery of domestic arts is more than simple craft. It is a measure of readiness, a preparation for the life she will lead, a life of service, of precision, of quiet labor. Weaving teaches patience, sewing teaches care, cooking teaches attentiveness. Each lesson is infused with expectation, yet wrapped in tenderness, so that the child can absorb skill and virtue simultaneously. The threads slip through her fingers, the needle pricks gently at the skin, the fabric folds in careful patterns. She learns to observe, to correct, to strive for perfection in small, unseen acts. Her mother's voice is constant, soft, and unwavering. Every stitch counts. Every movement matters. The care you give is a reflection not only of your skill but of your heart. Outside, The sunlight flickers across the room, illuminating dust motes that dance like tiny spirits in the air. The village hums faintly, the clatter of tools, the distant voices of neighbors, the occasional crow, yet inside, time moves differently. Here, every thread, every drop of water, every fold of cloth is part of an intricate rhythm, a world where observation, patience, and care are everything. Cooking becomes another silent lesson. The girl learns to wash rice with gentle hands, to stir broth with mindful attention, to measure and season with care and precision. Even in these small acts, she absorbs the unspoken rules of life: service, order, cleanliness, and the quiet expectation that she will always contribute, always prepare, always sustain. Each meal she helps prepare becomes an act of connection, linking her to family, to ancestors, to the rhythms of village life, and reinforcing the understanding that her value is woven into the care she provides. Weaving, sewing, cooking, these are not just chores. They are disciplines, shaping not only her body but her mind and spirit. The repetitive movements, the soft sounds, the measured motions all carry lessons in focus, endurance, and quiet pride. And though the world may see these skills as simple, domestic duties, within them lies the core of her existence, the foundation of resilience, patience, and subtle strength that will carry her through the demands and trials of the years ahead. Her mother's hands linger over her, guiding, correcting, encouraging. Her voice is a soft lullaby intertwined with instruction. You will use these skills to care for others. You will use them to create comfort, to bring order, to sustain life. And in learning them well, you are learning yourself. And so, as the day drifts on and the light fades into soft amber, the girl continues, her hands moving with increasing certainty, her mind absorbing patterns of care and duty, her heart slowly understanding the rhythm of service that will define much of her life. Each stitch, each fold, each carefully tended meal is a lesson in endurance, in love, and in quiet defiance. The first steps in a journey that will weave her life tightly into the fabric of family, village, and tradition. The morning light stretches across the wooden floors, gentle and pale, brushing the edges of tatami mats and illuminating the small, focused face of the girl. Her fingers trace the characters of simple calligraphy, guided by the careful hand of her mother or an elder sister. Every brushstroke is a lesson, not just in writing, but in patience, in precision, in understanding that every act carries meaning beyond itself. Education for a girl in feudal Japan is not about curiosity or personal discovery. It is about preparation. Preparation to navigate a world that will demand obedience, submission, and silent endurance. Lessons are subtle, interwoven with the rhythms of daily life. The folds of a cloth, the stir of a pot, the alignment of bowls and utensils, the cadence of respectful speech. Even morality is taught as duty, to serve others, to honor family, to preserve harmony, and to restrain desires that may conflict with social order. The girl sits quietly, her small back straight, her lips barely moving as she repeats phrases softly, mimicking the tones of her elders. She learns that words are tools, that listening is more important than speaking, and that every movement must be measured, controlled, and mindful. Her mother's eyes watch for every mistake, every hesitation, correcting gently but firmly. Do not rush. Think carefully. Speak softly. Your actions must reflect respect and awareness at all times. Outside, the village stirs, the faint clatter of tools in distant fields, the occasional crowing of roosters, the muted conversations of neighbors preparing for the day. Inside, the rhythm of instruction continues, a steady, deliberate shaping of character. Each moment is imbued with meaning, each lesson layering upon the next, building the quiet architecture of obedience and responsibility. The girl's mind, though young, begins to absorb these patterns almost unconsciously. She recognizes the structure of the world. Authority is to be respected, questions are measured, and harmony is valued above personal desire. In every bow, every careful stroke of ink, every whispered repetition of moral instruction, she internalizes the expectations of her family and society. And yet, within this meticulous guidance, there is room for the smallest spark of awareness, a recognition of self within the confines of duty. Though the world teaches her to bend, she learns to bend with grace, to endure without complaint, and to cultivate an inner steadiness that will serve her quietly for a lifetime. The day wanes, soft amber spilling across the room, and the girl sets down her brush, her hands slightly stained with ink. Her small face glows with concentration and the faint pride of accomplishment. Pride that is measured not by her own sense of achievement, but by her ability to meet the standards set for her. In these early years, the foundation of her existence is laid. A life of careful observation, measured response, and enduring patience. A path that will carry her into the household, the family, and the wider world with silent resilience. As night falls and the wind drifts through the open windows, the girl rests quietly, her breath even, her spirit absorbing the lessons of the day. The rhythm of obedience, care, and moral understanding has begun to settle deep within her, forming a quiet, invisible architecture that will guide her through the many trials, duties, and moments of hidden strength in the years to come. The sun rises gently over the village, spilling light across the rice paddies, the roofs, and the winding paths that connect home to home. The girl, now a little older, steps carefully into the courtyard, her small feet brushing against the smooth earth. Around her, other children gather, some boys, some girls, and the lessons of society begin to extend beyond the walls of the home. Even in play, the rules of the world are present. Girls are encouraged to practice gentle tasks, imitating the movements of women they will one day become. They weave small baskets, practice arranging flowers, mimic sweeping the floors with careful motions, and whisper instructions to dolls as though teaching servants. The boys, meanwhile, run freely through the fields, learning strength, courage, and independence, largely unconstrained. Observation teaches the girl early that her role is defined not by choice, but by expectation. The other girls are companions and mirrors. Through their interactions, the girl learns cooperation, patience, and the subtle art of negotiation within limits. Disagreements are resolved quietly, with minimal fuss, and laughter is soft, never loud, never drawing too much attention. The small lessons of daily interaction are profound. The world values restraint, humility, and the ability to move without disturbing the larger order. She watches the boys with curiosity, understanding that the world will not treat her the same way. They are given freedom, their voices carry weight, their actions receive praise. She, in contrast, learns to adjust her movements, to measure her speech, to keep her ambitions quiet. Even in play, she practices patience and self-restraint, forming patterns of behavior that will serve her through a lifetime of expectations. Her mother observes from the doorway, nodding softly as she sees the lessons of the home extending outward. The girl's ability to blend into the rhythm of the group, to act without drawing undue attention, is applauded quietly. Every successful act of cooperation, every subtle demonstration of skill or decorum, is another brick in the foundation of her character. A foundation built for service, for endurance, for harmony. The village itself teaches as well. The rhythm of daily life, the sounds of animals, the flowing streams, the work of neighbors, all provide examples of the roles each individual is to play. The girl absorbs these lessons unconsciously. A life lived in observation, in imitation, in quiet awareness of the structures around her. Even the natural world, patient and unyielding, mirrors the lessons of society. The river flows where it must, the wind bends the rice stalks, the seasons move without complaint, and all actions are measured within a greater order. As the day wanes and the light softens, the children are called back to their homes. The girl walks slowly, carrying small items she has woven or tidied, feeling a quiet pride in her careful work. She is learning that her actions, even small, have meaning within the household, within the village, within the invisible framework of expectation. And as she drifts into sleep that evening, her mind is filled with the rhythms, the rules, and the quiet lessons of socialization, the beginning of a life carefully attuned to obedience, decorum, and the subtle power of endurance. The sun rises higher now, spilling warm light across the village, illuminating wooden beams, rice fields, and the gentle sway of bamboo. The girl, now entering her early teens, stretches her limbs, feeling the strength slowly growing within her small frame. Her body is no longer that of an infant or a child. It carries the beginning of womanhood, of responsibility, and of labor that will define the years to come. Training begins quietly with simple movements: bending, lifting, carrying water, sweeping floors, and tending small gardens. Each action teaches endurance, control, and precision. The mother, ever patient, guides her hands and posture, whispering encouragement as the girl learns to move in ways that will later ease the burden of domestic labor and village work. Strength is not celebrated as it is for boys. It is nurtured silently, measured by the ability to perform duties gracefully, without complaint, without drawing attention. Outside, the rice paddies glisten with morning dew. The girls watch older women moving through the fields, observing how they lift baskets, plant seedlings, and work tirelessly in the sun. The adolescent girl learns that labor is not only physical, but a rhythm of thought, a pattern of endurance, a quiet mastery of motion and timing. Even small missteps are lessons. A bucket spilled, a plant mishandled, a misaligned row. Each becomes a teacher, shaping attention, precision, and patience. Her mind, attentive and aware, begins to anticipate the movements of her body, learning the balance between effort and care. She notices her own growing strength, her endurance increasing with each day, yet she understands that her power is to be contained, used only in service to household and family. There is no glory in exertion, no recognition for sweat and toil. Yet within the discipline, a quiet pride blooms, subtle but persistent. Training is not limited to domestic labor. Walking through uneven terrain, carrying water from distant streams, climbing to gather firewood, bending low to tend animals. Each task teaches her the boundaries and capabilities of her own body. Her muscles grow strong, her back firm, her hands calloused yet nimble. Even in these physical preparations, the lessons of obedience, patience, and harmony are woven through every motion. The mother observes from the doorway, her eyes soft but discerning. "Your body will serve you and others," she whispers, her voice blending with the wind through the bamboo. "Use it with care, with patience, with intention." Endurance is not just strength, it is wisdom, it is grace, it is survival. As dusk falls and the village grows quiet, the adolescent girl rests her weary limbs, her heartbeat slow and steady. She feels the quiet satisfaction of effort, the subtle growth of power restrained and shaped. And as she drifts into sleep, the lessons of the day settle deep within her muscles, her mind, and her spirit, a foundation for the labor, endurance, and quiet resilience that will define her life in the seasons to come. The mountains loom in the distance, patient and eternal. The wind hums through bamboo and rice. And within the wooden home, the adolescent girl dreams of strength, duty, and the quiet mastery of her own body. A body that will serve, endure, and persist through the long, measured rhythm of her days. The early morning light slips through the rice paper windows, soft and quiet, illuminating the stillness of the room. The girl, now on the threshold of womanhood, notices a strange change, a color unfamiliar and vivid, marking a transition she has only heard of in hushed whispers. Her heart beats faster, a mixture of fear, curiosity, and the faint stirrings of pride. The first menstruation is not merely a biological event. It is a rite of passage, a subtle yet profound signal that the rhythms of her life are shifting, that she is stepping into the delicate and demanding world of womanhood. Her mother approaches quietly, her eyes soft, her hands steady. She explains gently, almost ceremoniously, the meaning of this change, weaving knowledge with caution, tradition with care. "You are becoming a woman," she whispers. "Your body is learning its strength, its cycles, its duty." It is the first step into a life where care, endurance, and service will be your companions. The rituals are simple, understated, yet filled with intention. The girl learns to observe, to honor the rhythms of her own body, to respect the cycles that will come and go throughout her life. She is instructed on modesty, on care, on maintaining balance and health, and on the importance of discretion, lessons entwined with both practicality and the weight of cultural expectation. Her peers, other girls of the village, begin to regard her with a quiet awareness, their shared understanding a subtle acknowledgement of this new stage of life. Yet there is no loud celebration. The passage is intimate, personal, and carefully veiled within the rhythms of the household. She learns that womanhood is both a gift and a responsibility, a marker of potential and a sign of expectation. In the days and weeks that follow, she observes the women around her, her mother, her sisters, the neighbors, performing tasks with precision and care, tending children, managing households, working in the fields, all while navigating the subtleties of their own bodies and cycles. She begins to see herself as part of a continuum, a living link between generations of women who have endured, served, and quietly persisted through the demands of society. The mother's voice remains a steady guide. Respect your body, understand its signals, learn its needs, and let it serve you and your household with wisdom and care. Strength is measured not only in labor, but in awareness, endurance, and balance. As the sun rises higher and the village awakens to its daily rhythms, the girl feels a new sense of self, subtle yet profound. She understands, in quiet whispers of thought and observation, that her life has entered a new phase. A phase of readiness, of preparation, and of responsibilities intertwined with the delicate power of her own body. And as night falls and the winds drift softly through the bamboo, she lies down to sleep. Her mind carries the lessons of the day, her body resting in awareness of its own cycles, and her spirit begins to grow into the patient, enduring, and quietly resilient woman she is becoming. In the soft shadows of the room, a seed of quiet strength is planted, a strength that will guide her through the complexities, expectations, and subtle triumphs of her life ahead. The morning sun rises over the village rooftops, casting gentle shadows that ripple across wooden walls and tatami mats. The girl, now entering late adolescence, senses a shift in the air, subtle glances from elders, hushed conversations behind sliding doors, the quiet rustle of plans being made. Her life, long guided by the rhythms of home and duty, is now touched by a larger design, one determined not by her heart, but by tradition, expectation, and the intricate web of family alliances. Her mother calls her quietly into the room, the air heavy with both love and caution. "Your time approaches," she whispers, her eyes soft but firm. "It is time to prepare for the path that awaits, a path of marriage, of duty, of service to another household. The choice will not be yours, but your grace, patience, and understanding will guide you well." In feudal Japan, marriages are rarely born of affection or desire. They are instruments of strategy, threads in a tapestry of alliances, honor, and social standing. The girl learns that her life, so carefully cultivated in obedience, patience, and domestic skill, is now to serve a larger purpose beyond her own family, a joining of households, a bond forged for political, economic, or social gain. The discussion is subtle, yet profound. She is guided to understand her new role, to serve her future husband, to maintain harmony in his household, to bear children, especially sons, and to ensure the smooth functioning of daily life. Even her education, her domestic skills, her careful mastery of patience and decorum are now measured by their usefulness in this forthcoming union. The elders speak with quiet authority, their words shaping the girl's understanding without the need for harshness or command. "Your life will be intertwined with another's," they say softly. "You must learn to adapt, to guide gently, to sustain the household with grace, and to endure whatever challenges come your way." Outside, the village hums with the familiar rhythms of daily labor. The rice fields glisten under the morning light, streams ripple over stones, and the distant mountains stand as silent witnesses. Yet within the home, the girl senses the immensity of the change ahead, the subtle weight of expectation pressing gently but persistently upon her shoulders. She realizes that life, which she has long navigated with obedience and patience, now extends into unknown territory, a life entwined with another, bound by duty, and measured by harmony, endurance, and careful conduct. As evening falls, she sits quietly by the window, watching the sun sink behind the hills. Her mind reflects on the lessons of her childhood, the training of her body, the whispers of her mother, and the subtle codes of behavior learned among peers. All of these have prepared her for this moment, a life where obedience, care, and quiet strength will be her closest allies. And as night descends, she lies down to sleep, the rhythms of expectation and preparation settling into her heart and mind. The path ahead is clear, though unchosen. It is a path that will demand endurance, patience, and subtle wisdom. Within her, a quiet resolve begins to form, a resilience that will carry her through the complexities of arranged duty, the trials of household life, and the silent triumphs of quiet strength. The morning light spills softly through the shoji screens, illuminating the quiet movements of the household. The girl, now formally aware of her approaching marriage, begins the subtle rituals of preparation, rituals designed to honor tradition, demonstrate readiness, and signal the graceful acceptance of her new role. Her mother kneels beside her, arranging small offerings and gifts that will accompany her into another household. Each item is chosen with care: a set of neatly folded robes, delicate silk scarves, polished wooden utensils, and hand-stitched cloths. These objects are not merely possessions, they are symbols of skill, patience, and the ability to maintain order and beauty in any environment she enters. Softly, her mother instructs, "These are the tokens of your care. They speak for you before your words ever reach their ears. In every stitch, in every fold, in every careful arrangement, you show respect, diligence, and grace. Remember, your new household will judge not only your manners, but your mastery of these small duties, your attention to detail, your ability to endure quietly and serve fully." The girl moves slowly, carefully handling each object, her fingers tracing familiar patterns, her mind absorbing the meaning behind every gesture. Even in silence, lessons are being imparted: poise, patience, responsibility, and the quiet assertion of presence without overt declaration. Outside, the village begins its daily rhythm. Workers move through the rice fields, water flows in narrow channels, and distant birds sing across the horizon. Yet within the home, time slows, measured by the deliberate, careful motions of preparation: folding, arranging, presenting, practicing. The girl practices respectful bows, measured steps, and soft speech, each repetition reinforcing her awareness of the discipline required in the household she will soon join. Her mother speaks of the larger world beyond their walls, of the expectations that will be placed upon her, and of the importance of discretion. "Your life will be shared," she whispers. "You will walk among strangers who will come to trust you only when you show consistency, care, and silent strength. Your hands, your voice, your patience, all will be observed. All will be measured. All will speak for you when words are not enough." As the day drifts on, the girl reflects on her childhood, her training, and the lessons of obedience that have carried her to this moment. Each experience, weaving, cooking, observing, learning, now coalesces into a preparation for this transition, for the threshold she is about to cross. Her heart, though tinged with trepidation, holds a quiet anticipation, a soft awareness that she has been shaped to navigate this world with resilience, grace, and care. As night falls, lanterns cast gentle shadows across the room, and the girl kneels in quiet reflection, her hands folded, her mind attentive. The rituals of betrothal are not just preparation for marriage. They are preparation for endurance, for harmony, and for the subtle assertion of strength within constraint. And as she drifts into sleep, her spirit absorbs these lessons, her mind settling into the rhythm of careful anticipation, her body resting in readiness for the journey that lies ahead, a journey that will require both obedience and quiet fortitude. The morning air is cool and still, carrying the faint scent of rice fields and damp earth. The girl stands at the threshold of her childhood home, her small hands clutching the neatly folded bundles of silk, cloth, and utensils she has prepared. Today, she will leave behind the walls that have sheltered her, the rooms that have shaped her, and the familiar faces that have guided her through the rhythms of early life. Her mother's eyes glisten with unshed tears, her hands resting lightly on the girl's shoulders. "You have learned much," she whispers softly, her voice steady but tender. "Take these lessons with you. Remember your training, your patience, your strength. And carry yourself with grace, even when the path seems uncertain." The girl steps forward slowly, feeling the weight of expectation press gently but persistently upon her shoulders. Each footfall on the worn wooden floor is a reminder of the home she leaves, of the love and guidance she has received, and of the quiet endurance that has been nurtured within her. Outside, the village is alive with muted activity. Neighbors nod respectfully, observing the departure with gentle acknowledgement. Even the wind seems to pause, rustling the bamboo leaves softly, as if honoring the significance of this transition. She notices the distant mountains, the flowing streams, the orderly rice paddies, symbols of permanence and continuity, while her own life prepares to move into an unfamiliar rhythm. The journey to her new household is measured in careful steps, each one a lesson in humility, patience, and awareness. Her hands carry her bundles steadily, her gaze lowered in respect, and her mind recites the quiet teachings of her mother: obedience, diligence, and subtle strength. Every motion is deliberate, every breath calm, every heartbeat a gentle affirmation of her readiness to step into the responsibilities that await. Upon reaching the gates of her future home, she pauses briefly, taking in the unfamiliar sights and sounds. The walls, the roof, the courtyard, all are different, yet she senses the same rhythms she has learned at home: the expectation of order, the value of patience, and the quiet weight of duty. Her steps are measured, her demeanor composed, as she crosses the threshold into a life that will test her endurance, her skill, and her ability to adapt gracefully. Inside the new household, she is greeted by the faint bustle of preparation, the hushed voices of attendants, and the careful observation of elders. Everything she does is noticed, evaluated, and measured, from the way she bows, to the steadiness of her hands, to the subtle expressions on her face. She remembers the whispers of her mother, the lessons of her childhood, the hours of training in domestic arts, and feels the quiet strength within her rising, guiding her through this new world. As night falls and lanterns cast soft amber light across the courtyard, she sits quietly, her heart calm, her mind attentive, her spirit ready. The departure from her childhood home is not a loss alone. It is the beginning of a journey where patience, care, and quiet resilience will define her days, and where the strength nurtured within the walls she leaves behind will guide her through the delicate, demanding path of womanhood in feudal Japan. The morning sun filters softly through the papered windows of the new household, casting gentle patterns across polished wooden floors and carefully arranged furnishings. The girl, now a young woman, steps inside, her heart a quiet mix of apprehension and anticipation. Every movement is deliberate, every glance measured, as she navigates the unfamiliar space that will soon define much of her daily life. Her mother's lessons echo gently in her mind: patience, diligence, grace, and quiet strength. She recalls the hours spent learning domestic arts, the repetitive motions of weaving, sewing, cooking, and observing, all now tools to help her establish her place in this new home. Immediately, the rhythm of expectation envelopes her. Elders watch carefully, assessing her posture, her manners, her speech, and her attentiveness to detail. Every gesture carries meaning: the bow of greeting, the measured steps across the room, the soft tone of her voice when answering questions. She understands that her value here is measured not only by skill but by discretion, humility, and the ability to serve without complaint. Tasks begin at once. She attends to small chores first: tidying rooms, arranging utensils, fetching water, preparing meals. Each action, no matter how small, is a demonstration of her readiness to contribute, to maintain order, and to honor the household. Mistakes are not harshly punished but observed quietly, corrected gently, reinforcing the lessons of patience, attentiveness, and silent endurance learned in her childhood home. The young woman also meets her husband, a figure both distant and significant in her new world. She bows respectfully, her eyes lowered, her demeanor composed. Though her own desires hold little weight in the arrangement of this union, she senses the importance of subtle influence, the ability to speak softly yet meaningfully, to act with care, and to maintain harmony in every interaction. Outside, the village hums faintly, the distant sounds of labor, animals, and flowing water providing a backdrop to the new household's rhythm. Within the walls, time moves in measured sequences: preparation, observation, service, and quiet reflection. She notices the structure of life here: the hierarchy, the expectations, the rhythms of work, and the subtle balance of authority and obedience. As evening falls and the soft glow of lanterns illuminates the rooms, she pauses quietly, reflecting on the day. Though the household is unfamiliar, the lessons of her past guide her. Every fold of cloth, every careful placement of utensils, every respectful gesture is part of a larger pattern, a demonstration of care, patience, and enduring strength. And as she lays her head to rest, the quiet of the night wrapping around her, she feels a small but steady confidence forming within. The young woman knows that she must adapt, endure, and serve, yet she also senses the subtle power she carries, the knowledge, skill, and quiet wisdom of a life carefully cultivated. Within this disciplined patience lies her resilience, a foundation that will sustain her through the delicate, demanding, and often unseen responsibilities of marriage and household life in feudal Japan. The morning light spills softly across the courtyard of the new household, highlighting the delicate arrangement of utensils, the polished floors, and the orderly stacks of cloth. The young woman moves carefully through the space, aware that every action, every gesture, carries meaning. Here, in this household, her value is measured not only by her obedience, but by her ability to maintain order, cultivate harmony, and anticipate the needs of those around her. Her mother-in-law, a stern yet composed figure, observes silently from the corner of the room. With measured instruction, she guides the young woman through the rituals of household management. How to prepare meals that are both nourishing and aesthetically pleasing. How to arrange rooms and belongings with precision. How to manage servants and attendants with subtle authority. And how to resolve minor disputes quietly, maintaining calm and balance. Each lesson is slow and deliberate, layered with expectation. Mistakes are met not with harsh words, but with gentle correction, emphasizing patience, care, and attention to detail. The young woman learns that success here is measured in quiet competence, in the smooth functioning of daily life, in the absence of chaos, and in the subtle demonstration of skill and grace. She practices early mornings tending the garden, ensuring fresh herbs and vegetables are available. She folds cloth and arranges garments with meticulous care, each fold precise, each alignment deliberate. She attends to meals with reverence, observing the placement of each bowl, each cup, each utensil, aware that harmony in presentation reflects harmony in the household itself. The rhythm of her days becomes structured, rising before dawn, preparing meals, managing chores, overseeing younger attendants, ensuring the household flows with calm precision. Every movement carries the weight of expectation, yet within this discipline she finds a quiet rhythm, a steadying of mind and body, and the slow cultivation of competence that will serve her for years to come. At midday, she pauses briefly to reflect, observing the courtyard, the carefully tended gardens, the flowing water, and the subtle movements of those around her. She realizes that her own strength is measured not in grand gestures, but in endurance, attention, and patience. Each small act, arranging a tray, smoothing a mat, instructing a servant, is a demonstration of her ability to uphold the household, a testament to her discipline, and a silent assertion of her own subtle authority. As evening falls and lanterns cast warm, flickering light across the polished floors, she kneels quietly, reflecting on the lessons of the day. Her hands, trained in skill and care, rest softly in her lap. Her mind, attentive and aware, acknowledges the weight of responsibility she now bears. And as she drifts into sleep, the rhythms of household management, the lessons of obedience, patience, and grace settle deep within her, forming a foundation of quiet resilience and enduring strength. Through these small yet profound practices, the young woman begins to understand the intricate balance of her new life, the harmony of service, the discipline of care, and the subtle power embedded in quiet competence, the essence of her role as a wife in feudal Japan. The dawn breaks gently over the household, spilling soft light across tatami mats and the delicate arrangement of utensils in the kitchen. The young woman rises slowly, feeling a subtle shift within her body, a quiet, profound change that marks the beginning of her first pregnancy. Her heart flutters with a mixture of wonder, anticipation, and quiet apprehension, for this is a journey both sacred and fraught with uncertainty. Her mother-in-law observes with measured eyes, offering guidance in hushed tones. "You carry the future within you," she whispers softly. "Your strength, your care, your endurance, all will be tested. Yet within this test lies your power. To nurture life is a sacred duty, one that will demand patience, vigilance, and resilience." The young woman moves carefully through the household, aware of every step, every motion, every small task. Even in the simplest chores, she senses the fragility of her new condition, the quiet rhythms of life growing within her. The mornings are gentle, filled with simple exercises, quiet reflection, and attention to nourishment, both of body and spirit. She begins to notice subtle changes, a softening of her features, a gentle swelling of her body, moments of fatigue, and the delicate ebb and flow of emotions. Fear mingles with excitement. Each new sensation is a reminder of the immense responsibility she carries. The elders provide guidance in caring for her body, in preparing for the delicate balance between domestic duties and self-preservation. Conversations are hushed, instructions precise, and caution woven into every gesture. Outside, the village awakens to the rhythm of labor, the distant calls of birds, the flowing of streams, and the rustle of bamboo in the morning breeze. The young woman observes life continuing as always, a world unaware of the tiny life she now nurtures within herself. Yet she feels deeply connected to the cycles of nature, the sun rising, the water flowing, the earth sustaining, all reflecting the delicate, unseen work occurring within her own body. Days pass with quiet routine, meals prepared with care, herbs and water selected mindfully, movement measured, rest embraced. Each day is a balance between duty to the household and the sacred attention to her own growing child. The young woman learns to listen to her body, to honor its needs, to integrate caution with competence, and to carry herself with both humility and quiet pride. As night falls, the lanterns casting a gentle glow across the polished floors, she kneels softly, placing her hands over her womb. The household sleeps in measured rhythm, the wind hums through the bamboo, and the stars watch silently above. She breathes slowly, feeling the life within her move with soft, rhythmic pulses. A mixture of hope, fear, and love settles gently in her heart, a quiet acknowledgement of the sacred duty she now embraces. And as she drifts into sleep, the delicate weight of life within her, the lessons of patience and endurance, and the awareness of her own resilience settle deep into her mind and body. In this quiet, meditative state, she becomes both caretaker and vessel, embracing the intertwined paths of service, strength, and the tender beginnings of motherhood in feudal Japan. The first rays of dawn filter softly through the shoji screens, illuminating the quiet room where the young woman lies, her body tense yet brimming with a quiet, enduring strength. Her breath moves slowly, deliberately, each inhalation and exhalation a rhythm in the silent orchestra of life preparing to enter the world. Around her, the household is hushed, attendants and midwives moving with careful, deliberate motions. The air is thick with anticipation, reverence, and the unspoken understanding of the gravity of this moment. Childbirth in feudal Japan is a perilous journey, one that tests the body, spirit, and endurance of the woman, demanding patience, resilience, and courage beyond measure. Her mother-in-law sits nearby, hands folded, eyes steady, a subtle presence of guidance and reassurance. "You are strong," she whispers softly. "Every breath, every movement, every quiet effort carries life forward. Trust your body, trust your strength, and know that you are not alone in this journey." The young woman focuses inward, listening to the subtle signals of her body, feeling each contraction, each tightening and release, as if conversing with the child growing within her. Pain and effort intertwine, yet within them lies a profound power, the quiet assertion of life, resilience, and unwavering determination. The attendants move with skill, offering support, guidance, and occasional gentle words. Her hands grip the edges of the futon, knuckles whitening, body trembling, yet her spirit remains steady. The room is a sanctuary of concentration and care, where every whispered instruction and every subtle movement becomes part of the delicate balance between danger and the triumph of life. Hours stretch slowly, measured not by the passing sun, but by the rhythm of breath, the cadence of effort, and the persistent pulse of hope. She remembers the lessons of her mother, of her childhood, of her training: patience, endurance, grace under pressure, and the quiet, unassuming strength that has been cultivated over years of careful preparation. Each contraction is a reminder of the power she holds within, each pause a brief respite before the next test of fortitude. Outside, the village carries on, the distant sounds of labor and life creating a backdrop that contrasts with the intensity of the room. Within the walls, time is suspended, measured only by the interplay of body, spirit, and the sacred work of creation. And then, after long hours of perseverance, the air shifts subtly, a soft cry pierces the quiet, signaling life's arrival. Tears mingle with sweat on her brow as relief washes over her body. The child is placed gently upon her chest, warm, soft, and breathing with fragile yet steady rhythm. A profound exhaustion settles into her limbs, yet beneath it lies a quiet triumph, a deep, enduring pride, and the recognition of her own resilience. As night falls and lanterns cast their gentle glow, she rests, holding her newborn close. Her heart beats slowly, in harmony with the small life she now cradles, her mind filled with reflection, gratitude, and the soft, enduring awareness of the power she has harnessed. In this meditative quiet, she drifts into sleep, body spent yet spirit steady, mind absorbed in the sacred intertwining of endurance, care, and the timeless rhythm of motherhood in feudal Japan. The soft glow of dawn filters through the papered windows, casting delicate patterns across the wooden floors of the household. The young mother rises quietly, mindful of the tiny life she now cradles, aware that her days have shifted to a rhythm defined by both nurture and duty. Every movement is deliberate, every breath measured, every gesture infused with quiet care, as she balances the needs of her child with the intricate demands of the household. The newborn rests in her arms, fragile yet alive, a testament to her endurance, patience, and resilience. Her eyes trace the child's delicate features, marveling at the small miracle she has brought into the world. Each cry, each movement, each soft sigh is a signal she has learned to interpret with instinctive understanding. Yet life continues beyond the nursery. The household requires order, attention, and careful management. She rises to prepare meals, sweep floors, tend the hearth, and ensure the smooth functioning of daily life. Her body, though still recovering, moves with quiet precision, her hands executing tasks with skill honed through years of preparation. The mother-in-law observes silently, offering guidance through subtle gestures and soft words. "Balance is the key," she whispers gently. "You must nurture the child, yet maintain the household. Attend to your duties, yet care for yourself. Strength lies not only in labor, but in patience, attentiveness, and the quiet endurance of each day." Outside, the village hums softly with the rhythm of labor, water flowing in the irrigation channels, children calling in the fields, distant birds singing across the hills. Inside, the young mother moves seamlessly between her roles: caretaker, manager, nurturer, observer. She learns to interpret the subtleties of infant needs, the timing of meals, the demands of household chores, and the nuances of social expectations. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to the harmony and stability of the household. The day stretches slowly, measured in repetitive yet purposeful motions. She nurses the child, folds freshly washed cloth, prepares meals with care, and observes the household's flow. Each task reinforces her understanding that motherhood and household management are intertwined. Neither can exist fully without the other, and both demand quiet strength, patience, and attention. As evening descends, the lanterns cast a soft amber glow, and the young mother sits quietly, holding her child close, her mind reflecting on the day's rhythm. The soft weight of responsibility settles gently into her shoulders, a reminder of the delicate balance between nurturing life and maintaining order. And as she drifts into sleep, the soft breathing of her child beside her, the gentle rhythm of the household, and the awareness of her own enduring strength envelop her in quiet meditation. In these tender, measured days, she discovers the profound art of living with an expectation while asserting quiet resilience, the essence of early motherhood and the delicate, enduring role of women in feudal Japan. The soft morning light spills through the shoji screens, illuminating the quiet household where the young mother moves with measured grace. Her body, still recovering from the first birth, now carries the quiet anticipation of another life forming within. In feudal Japan, women's worth was often measured by fertility, by the ability to bear children, especially sons, and she feels the weight of this responsibility settle gently, persistently upon her shoulders. Her daily rhythm now carries an added layer of awareness, careful movement to protect her unborn child, attention to nourishment, rest interspersed with duty, and constant vigilance over her household tasks. Even simple chores, carrying water, preparing meals, tending to laundry, are approached with deliberate care, mindful of the delicate balance between obligation and self-preservation. Her mother-in-law offers guidance, her voice low and steady. Life is precious, yet fragile. Each pregnancy brings joy and challenge alike. You must listen to your body, honor its limits, and continue to serve the household with patience and grace. Strength lies not in the absence of fatigue, but in the quiet endurance of duty and care. The young woman moves with a quiet awareness, noting each sensation, the gentle swelling of her abdomen, the subtle fatigue of her limbs, the tender awareness of life growing within her. She feels both vulnerability and strength, fear and anticipation, as her body prepares to repeat the sacred cycle of creation and nurturing. Outside, the village carries on with the rhythm of life. Peasant women labor in the fields, carrying heavy loads and bending to the earth, mirroring the cycle of fertility and labor that defines their existence. The young woman observes their steady work, recognizing the shared endurance that binds women across generations and social classes. She is part of this continuum, a caretaker, a nurturer, a pillar of household and family continuity. Days blend into weeks and weeks into months. She rises with the dawn, tending the household, attending her first child, and monitoring her own health with careful attention. Her body and spirit learn to navigate the delicate dance of pregnancy, household duty, and personal endurance. Each day demands patience, each movement measured, each breath a silent affirmation of resilience. As night falls, lanterns casting warm, flickering light, she kneels quietly, placing her hands over her growing abdomen. She reflects on the cycles of life, the labor she has endured, the child she nurtures, and the new life yet to come. Her heart swells with a mixture of hope, responsibility, and quiet determination, knowing that within her lies the strength to sustain her household and carry forth the lineage entrusted to her care. And as she drifts into sleep, the soft rhythm of life within her, the gentle breathing of her child nearby, and the enduring awareness of her role in this delicate, demanding cycle envelop her in meditation. She rests, yet remains attentive, embodying the profound balance of fertility, duty, and resilience, the enduring, quiet strength of women in feudal Japan. The first light of dawn paints the courtyard with muted gold, illuminating the wooden beams and carefully swept grounds of a samurai household. The young woman, now a mother and wife, steps into this world with a heightened awareness of the weight of honor and duty. Her role as a samurai wife is both revered and exacting, defined by tradition, expectation, and the silent strength that will carry her through years of responsibility. Every gesture, every bow, every measured word carries significance. She moves with composure, aware that her actions reflect not only on herself but on her husband, her family, and the household that she represents. Discipline, poise, and unwavering attentiveness are her companions, guiding her through the demands of this elevated role. Her day begins with careful attention to the household, inspecting the arrangements of utensils, ensuring the hearth is prepared, observing the readiness of attendants, and maintaining the order and discipline that the samurai household requires. She teaches younger women in the household the same lessons she has learned: patience, diligence, decorum, and the quiet assertion of authority through competence. Within the walls of the home, she balances nurturing her children, particularly sons destined for future duty, with maintaining harmony and respect among attendants and household members. Her vigilance is constant, her awareness acute. Even in moments of leisure or reflection, she is mindful of the subtle undercurrents of power, respect, and influence that shape her environment. The samurai code extends to the conduct of women within the household. She embodies virtues of loyalty, modesty, and discretion, understanding that her strength lies not in outward assertion, but in quiet endurance, measured action, and the consistent fulfillment of duties. Her husband's honor is entwined with her diligence, his reputation strengthened by her careful maintenance of the home and nurturing of future heirs. Beyond the domestic sphere, some samurai wives practice martial arts, not openly, but with quiet skill, ready to protect their household if circumstance demands. This silent preparedness is part of her strength, the ability to act decisively, with precision and grace, should danger arise. It is a reminder that power need not always be declared loudly, and that resilience can exist in stillness, observation, and careful readiness. As evening descends, the courtyard glows softly under lantern light. The samurai wife kneels quietly, her hands folded, her mind reflecting on the day's duties, her accomplishments, and the delicate balance she maintains between family, honor, and personal endurance. She breathes deeply, allowing the rhythmic quiet of the household to envelop her. And as she drifts into sleep, the subtle strength cultivated through years of training, observation, and disciplined care settles deeply within her, a steady heartbeat echoing the resilience of generations of women who have served with dignity, grace, and silent fortitude. In the stillness of night, she embodies the essence of her role, unwavering, patient, disciplined, and quietly powerful, the soul of the samurai household and the enduring strength of women in feudal Japan. The morning light arrives softly, brushing the wooden beams of the household with warm gold, as the young samurai wife lies quietly, awaiting the arrival of new life. Her body, seasoned by previous births, now prepares once again for the sacred and perilous work of childbirth. Within her, the life of a son, a bearer of lineage, a continuation of honor, begins its journey into the world. Attendants and midwives move silently around her, their voices hushed, their gestures deliberate, honoring the gravity of this moment. Every breath she takes is measured, each contraction a rhythm in the delicate music of creation. Pain and hope intertwine, blending into the quiet fortitude that has been cultivated over years of preparation, training, and disciplined endurance. Her husband stands respectfully nearby, a silent presence, understanding the sacredness of the act that will determine not only life, but the continuation of family legacy. He bows his head slightly, acknowledging the strength and resilience of the woman who carries the future of the household within her. Hours stretch slowly, measured not by the sun's passage, but by the rise and fall of breath, the cadence of effort, and the quiet persistence of life emerging. She focuses inward, feeling each movement, each shift, each pulse of life, connecting intimately with the child she has nurtured within her womb. Her mind repeats the lessons of patience, endurance, and courage, a silent mantra grounding her through the trials of labor. Finally, a cry pierces the quiet room, fragile, pure, insistent, signaling the arrival of her son. Exhaustion washes over her body, but beneath it lies profound joy, deep pride, and the quiet awareness of her enduring strength. The child is placed gently upon her chest, warm and breathing steadily, a living testament to her resilience, skill, and the sacredness of her role. The attendants carefully tend to both mother and child, ensuring safety and comfort. The samurai wife feels a sense of completion, a quiet triumph, and an awareness that her body has fulfilled a vital duty, nurturing life, sustaining lineage, and reinforcing the honor of her household. As evening descends and lanterns cast their soft glow, she rests quietly, holding her newborn son close. Her heart beats in gentle rhythm with the child's, a meditation on life, continuity, and the subtle, enduring strength required of women in feudal Japan. She reflects on her responsibilities, the expectations placed upon her, and the quiet resilience that has guided her through this sacred passage. And as sleep embraces her, the house settles into calm, the soft breathing of her child and the gentle flicker of lantern light marking the rhythm of life, lineage, and enduring maternal strength. In this meditative stillness, she embodies the sacred balance of duty, care, and quiet power, the essence of motherhood and the unbroken thread of female resilience across generations. The morning sun spills softly across the wooden floors of the samurai household, illuminating the quiet spaces where young children begin to stir. The mother rises carefully, her body still carrying the subtle strength of childbirth, her heart attuned to the delicate rhythms of nurturing life. She moves quietly, her hands gentle, her steps measured, aware that each gesture teaches, guides, and shapes the children who depend upon her wisdom and care. Raising children in feudal Japan is an art of balance, between affection and discipline, between nurture and duty, between personal desire and societal expectation. The young mother watches her son and daughter, observing their curiosity, their small movements, and their tentative attempts to imitate the adults around them. Each act is a lesson: patience, respect, diligence, and the quiet cultivation of character. Her hands fold cloth and prepare meals, yet her eyes remain on the children, ready to intervene with soft instruction, gentle correction, or subtle encouragement. She teaches them the rituals of the household: proper bows, careful speech, attentiveness to elders, and respect for the property and honor of the home. Every word is measured, every gesture deliberate, shaping character with soft authority rather than harsh command. The children learn through observation as much as through instruction, absorbing the rhythm of the household: the early rising, the meticulous care of utensils and rooms, the quiet harmony of work and duty. Her role is to model strength and resilience, showing that responsibility can coexist with care, and that discipline does not diminish love. Beyond the domestic sphere, the mother instills an understanding of societal expectations: obedience to elders, awareness of rank and status, and the virtues of patience, humility, and diligence. She does so with subtlety, weaving lessons into daily tasks and gentle guidance, allowing the children to internalize these values while feeling nurtured, secure, and loved. The day flows with quiet rhythm, tending to meals, caring for the youngest, managing household duties, observing and guiding the older children, and attending to the needs of the extended household. Even amidst fatigue, her presence is steady, a constant source of guidance, protection, and quiet authority. As evening falls, lanterns casting a warm, flickering glow across the rooms, the mother kneels softly, her children gathered around her, listening with wide, attentive eyes. She reflects on the delicate balance she maintains, nurturing life, instilling discipline, sustaining household harmony, and embodying the quiet strength expected of women in her role. And as sleep embraces the household, her children resting peacefully, she allows herself a moment of meditation, gratitude for their health, reflection on the responsibilities she carries, and awareness of the enduring strength that motherhood and service have cultivated within her. In this meditative stillness, she embodies the intertwined virtues of care, resilience, and disciplined love, the foundation of both family and household in feudal Japan. The morning light filters softly through the shoji screens, but in the quiet of the household, there is a shadow of absence. The husband, the samurai, has passed, a casualty of duty, battle, or illness, leaving the wife to navigate the delicate and weighty realities of widowhood. Her body is capable, her mind sharp, yet the emotional landscape is layered with grief, uncertainty, and the persistent demands of duty. In feudal Japan, widowhood carries a complex blend of respect, expectation, and responsibility. She is no longer merely a wife. She becomes the guardian of her children, the overseer of household continuity, and the bearer of honor for the family name. Her mourning is intertwined with action, her grief tempered by necessity, and her resilience tested in ways both visible and subtle. The household, though loyal, now looks to her for guidance. Servants, younger women, and even extended relatives rely on her judgment, her strength, and her ability to maintain order and discipline. She moves quietly through each room, inspecting the hearth, the arrangement of utensils, and the children's welfare, ensuring that the absence of her husband does not unravel the fabric of daily life. Her mornings are long and deliberate. She wakes before dawn, attends to household duties, prepares meals, oversees the children, and manages relations with neighbors and allies. Each act is infused with quiet authority, earned through experience, endurance, and a deep understanding of responsibility. Yet beneath the surface of daily action, there is grief, a soft ache, a subtle emptiness that follows her in moments of stillness. She allows herself to remember quietly, honoring the memory of the one she has lost while embracing the living duties that call her attention. Mourning and responsibility coexist, interwoven into the fabric of her daily rhythm. The children, aware of the absence yet protected by her steady presence, learn through her example. They witness endurance, patience, and the quiet assertion of authority, understanding that loss is part of life, but resilience ensures continuity, care, and preservation of family honor. As evening falls and lanterns glow softly, the widow kneels quietly, her hands folded, her mind reflecting on the day, the loss, and the responsibilities that endure. She breathes deeply, acknowledging grief, yet reaffirming her commitment to her household and children. Her resilience is quiet but profound, a soft inner strength that allows her to continue the sacred cycle of care, guidance, and preservation of honor. As sleep embraces her, the household settles into calm rhythm. The quiet breathing of her children, the gentle flicker of lanterns, and the soft rustle of the night create a cocoon of meditation and reflection. In this serene, meditative state, she embodies the delicate balance of grief and duty, loss and resilience, mourning and quiet strength, the enduring spirit of women in feudal Japan who navigate the challenges of widowhood with grace, dignity, and unyielding courage. The first morning light filters softly through papered windows, illuminating the quiet serenity of a Buddhist nunnery tucked amidst bamboo groves and gentle hills. Here, women who have chosen, or have been guided, to religious life move with a grace and purpose distinct from the demands of the secular household. The walls echo with the soft rhythm of chanting, the slow sweep of brooms, and the gentle hum of meditation, creating an atmosphere of tranquility, reflection, and subtle authority. Entering this sacred space, a woman feels both liberation and responsibility. Freed from the immediate obligations of marriage and motherhood, she now embraces a life devoted to spiritual cultivation, education, and quiet leadership. Daily rituals are measured, deliberate, and imbued with reverence. Incense burned at dawn, the recitation of sutras, and mindful observation of the natural world surrounding the monastery. Within the nunnery, women learn, teach, and lead. They study sacred texts, impart wisdom to novices, and counsel those who seek guidance, cultivating both inner strength and societal influence in ways that secular life rarely permits. Even those who have faced the loss of husband, children, or social standing discover here a space to reassert agency, reflect, and find purpose. Some women, like the revered Hojo Masako, have taken religious vows after lives of political engagement, blending spiritual authority with worldly influence. In these moments, the nunnery becomes more than a refuge. It becomes a platform for subtle leadership, strategic counsel, and the preservation of familial or political legacy. Life here is quiet, yet powerful. The hushed corridors and serene gardens echo with the silent determination and wisdom of women who have chosen this path. Daily routines are simple yet exacting. Meals are prepared with mindfulness, meditation is observed with quiet intensity, and chores are performed with an understanding that even the smallest acts are imbued with spiritual significance. Through discipline, reflection, and education, women cultivate a strength that transcends the physical and the social, reaching into the realms of mind, spirit, and influence. The surrounding gardens and groves reflect the cycles of life, growth, and renewal. Each plant carefully tended, each stone deliberately placed, mirrors the care and contemplation that define the women who inhabit the nunnery. Here, women find a balance between personal growth and communal responsibility, blending spiritual devotion with the quiet assertion of agency within the constraints of societal expectations. As evening descends, the soft glow of lanterns illuminates corridors lined with scrolls, and the women gather in quiet meditation. Breath aligns with the subtle rhythms of nature, the wind rustling bamboo, distant birds settling, the gentle flow of a nearby stream. In these meditative hours, women reflect on past trials, current duties, and the enduring impact of their presence in both spiritual and worldly spheres. As sleep approaches, the nunnery settles into deep calm. The women, mindful of their practice, drift into rest, their hearts and minds aligned with the quiet power cultivated through discipline, devotion, and education. In this serene, meditative state, They embody both refuge and influence, a sanctuary of wisdom, strength, and resilience that quietly shapes the cultural and spiritual fabric of feudal Japan. The gentle light of dawn glides softly over the elegant wooden structures of the Heian court, illuminating silk screens and papered rooms adorned with subtle artistry. Here, amidst the refined beauty and delicate rituals of court life, women cultivate intellect, creativity, and a quiet, enduring influence that transcends the constraints of their social roles. Among them, Murasaki Shikibu moves with grace and intellect, her mind alive with the stories, characters, and subtle observations that will shape generations to come. Her daily routine is a delicate balance of instruction, writing, and reflection. She rises early, preparing her chambers and attending to her personal rituals, yet her thoughts are already wandering into the world she creates on paper. Intricately woven narratives of love, power, ambition, and the human heart. In the quiet moments between lessons and courtly duties, she records her reflections, observations of court life, and the delicate interplay of emotion and social expectation that defines her world. Murasaki Shikibu's work is more than art. It is subtle resistance, a quiet assertion of female perspective in a world dominated by male authority. Through her writing, she examines the interior lives of women, the complexities of courtly relationships, and the delicate nuances of social expectation, offering insight, empathy, and a quiet critique of societal norms. Her influence extends beyond her words. She instructs younger women in poetry, etiquette, and literature, fostering a community of intellectual and artistic growth within the constraints of the court. Each lesson, each whispered suggestion, each subtle correction becomes part of a cultural legacy that quietly empowers women to express, reflect, and assert intellectual presence within a restrictive social framework. The day flows with refined rhythm, early mornings spent writing, afternoons devoted to teaching or attending court events, evenings filled with private contemplation or the silent pleasure of reading and reflection. Her life is structured, disciplined, and mindful, yet infused with creative freedom and the quiet joy of intellectual exploration. Beyond her immediate surroundings, the ripple of her work begins to extend, shaping the aesthetic sensibilities, narrative traditions, and cultural memory of Japan. The tale of Genji emerges not only as a story but as a mirror reflecting the subtle strength, intelligence, and insight of women who navigate society with both grace and keen observation. As twilight descends, lanterns casting a soft amber glow across the chambers, Murasaki pauses in meditation, reflecting on the day's work, the nuances she has captured, and the enduring potential of her words. The quiet of the evening wraps around her, the soft rustle of paper and silk accompanying her thoughts, allowing reflection and calm to settle within. As sleep embraces the household, the gentle rhythm of her breathing aligns with the silent heartbeat of cultural continuity. In this meditative calm, she embodies intellect, resilience, and subtle influence, a testament to the enduring power of women in arts and literature, shaping both the present and the memory of future generations. The morning sun casts a soft, golden light across the fortified walls of Kamakura, illuminating the quiet strength of a woman whose presence commands both respect and influence. Hojo Masako, once a wife within the samurai household, now steps into a role rarely afforded to women in feudal Japan: political authority. Though cloaked in the title of a nun, her mind and spirit remain keenly engaged in the affairs of governance, strategy, and legacy. Masako's day begins in quiet contemplation. She reviews messages, considers alliances, and reflects on decisions that will shape the fate of the shogunate. Her influence is subtle yet profound, guiding, advising, and sometimes intervening directly in matters of succession, negotiation, and policy. She is a master of patience, strategy, and observation, wielding power not through outward domination, but through intellect, foresight, and an understanding of human nature. Within the halls of Kamakura, attendants move with quiet precision, aware of her authority. Masako's words are measured, deliberate, and impactful, her counsel sought by leaders, her judgment respected by men who would otherwise deny female influence. Even in moments of reflection, she considers the welfare of the state, the strength of the samurai, and the stability of her family's lineage. Her dual role as both political figure and religious devotee allows her a unique position. By embracing the spiritual identity of a nun, she navigates societal expectations, maintaining legitimacy while exercising unprecedented authority. She participates in ceremonies, observes rituals, and engages in spiritual practice, yet always with the awareness that each act, each decision, carries both earthly and societal weight. Hojo Masako's days are long, structured, and demanding. She balances correspondence with strategy, ceremonial duties with clandestine negotiation, and personal reflection with the unyielding responsibilities of leadership. Her presence is both stabilizing and transformative, a testament to the ways in which women could wield influence within the patriarchal structures of feudal Japan. As evening descends, the soft glow of lanterns illuminates her chambers. She kneels quietly, hands folded in meditation, reflecting on the day's challenges, triumphs, and subtle maneuvers. The rhythm of her breathing aligns with the calm of the night, a meditative bridge between worldly power and spiritual awareness. As sleep embraces her, Hojo Masako embodies resilience, wisdom, and strategic acumen. She rests not in idleness, but in the quiet confidence of a woman who has navigated societal constraints, shaped political destiny, and left an indelible mark on the history of Japan. Her life becomes a meditation on the enduring power of intellect, patience, and subtle authority, a beacon of female agency in a world that rarely permits it. The first light of dawn spills over the rice paddies, mist rising gently from the waterlogged fields, revealing the silhouettes of women already at work. Among them, Nano Teo bends over the soil, hands immersed in mud, her body moving with steady rhythm, enduring the unyielding demands of daily labor. For peasant women, life is measured not in hours, but in tasks: planting, weeding, carrying water, tending animals, and maintaining the household, all performed in ceaseless rotation. The village awakens slowly, the distant sound of plows and oxen mingling with the cries of children and the hum of daily life. Nano Teo's movements are deliberate, her body strong from years of continuous work, yet each day exacts a toll, exhaustion, wear, and the quiet ache of perpetual labor. Her mornings begin with preparing meals before sunrise, ensuring that the family is nourished before the day's work in the fields begins. Children, small but resilient, follow her guidance, learning the rhythms of toil and the demands of survival in a harsh world. Even as she tends to her family, she is aware of the expectations placed upon her: productivity, endurance, and the unspoken measure of her worth tied to her capacity to labor, nurture, and maintain the household. Pregnancy is a constant companion, a recurring cycle intertwined with the physical demands of work. The dangers are ever present: backbreaking labor, lack of medical care, high infant mortality, and the constant awareness that her body is both a tool and a vessel of life. Yet Nano Teo persists, finding strength in routine, community, and the quiet determination that sustains her family and lineage. Within the small village, women share responsibilities, exchanging labor, advice, and support. The bonds of shared endurance form a network of resilience, subtle, uncelebrated, yet essential to the continuity of daily life. Nano Teo moves among them with purpose, teaching her daughters, aiding her neighbors, and silently asserting agency through competence, resourcefulness, and steadfast commitment. Evening descends slowly, painting the sky in muted shades of orange and lavender. Nano Teo returns home, carrying water, checking the hearth, and ensuring the household is prepared for the night. Exhausted yet unwavering, she kneels for a quiet moment, feeling the gentle heartbeat of her children, reflecting on the day's labors, and acknowledging her own quiet strength. As sleep approaches, the household settles into calm. The soft rustle of fabric, the subtle breathing of children, and the distant night sounds of the village envelop her in serene meditation. In this quiet, Nano Teo embodies endurance, resilience, and unwavering diligence, a living testament to the strength of peasant women in feudal Japan, who sustain life, nurture future generations, and carry the weight of society upon their shoulders with quiet, unwavering grace. The sun rises gently over the canals and wooden bridges of early Edo, reflecting soft ripples in the water as a quiet energy stirs within the city. Amidst this bustling yet restrained environment, Okuni no Okuni moves with vibrant purpose, carrying the seeds of an art form that will challenge norms and captivate generations. She is a woman of vision, daring to step beyond the rigid constraints imposed upon her gender, transforming performance into both entertainment and subtle cultural critique. Okuni assembles her troupe with careful attention, selecting women whose talent, discipline, and charisma promise a new stage for expression. Costumes are meticulously arranged, faces painted with delicate precision, and movements rehearsed with rigorous discipline. The world of kabuki is both imaginative and deliberate, a fusion of performance, tradition, and rebellion cloaked in artistry. As the first performance begins, the soft murmur of anticipation ripples through the audience. Okuni and her troupe move with elegance, their gestures imbued with meaning, their voices carrying subtle inflections that convey emotion, satire, and societal commentary. Through dance, song, and dramatic expression, they explore themes of love, ambition, virtue, and folly, challenging the audience to reflect while entertaining them with captivating skill. The cultural impact of kabuki extends far beyond the stage. Women, once relegated to private spheres, assert presence through art, subtly influencing public discourse and reshaping perceptions of performance, creativity, and female agency. Okuni's innovation demonstrates that expression, humor, and artistry can become powerful tools for social dialogue, even within a rigidly structured society. Each day blends practice with reflection, performance with instruction. Okuni trains her troupe in both technical skill and emotional resonance, nurturing artistry while fostering resilience and confidence. The stage becomes a space where women navigate and assert identity, finding empowerment in creativity, discipline, and subtle social influence. Evenings are quiet after the final performance, lanterns casting golden light over empty streets, and Okuni walks through the dim city with reflective steps. Her mind traces the arcs of her dancers, the reactions of audiences, and the quiet transformations occurring in the hearts and perceptions of those who witness her art. Through each movement, gesture, and expression, she carves a path for women to assert presence, intelligence, and subtle rebellion in a society that rarely affords them space. As night embraces the city, Okuni rests, her thoughts lingering on the day's performance and the quiet legacy she nurtures. The meditative rhythm of her breathing aligns with the gentle nocturnal sounds of Edo, a soft heartbeat of inspiration and enduring creativity. In this serene, reflective state, she embodies innovation, resilience, and the quiet power of artistic vision, a woman shaping culture, challenging norms, and leaving an indelible mark on Japanese history through the transformative power of kabuki theater. The dawn mist hovers over the forested hills, soft and silent, as the first light glimmers through dense foliage. Within this shadowed realm moves Machisuki Kayom, a woman whose path diverges sharply from the domestic and courtly worlds of her contemporaries. She walks with quiet purpose, her mind alert, her body trained, and her senses attuned to the rhythms of both nature and human movement. Kayom is the architect of a female network of ninja, kunoichi, whose skills blend stealth, strategy, and subtle influence. Her life, and that of her operatives, is a delicate balance of secrecy, precision, and courage, where every action carries the weight of clan survival, political intrigue, and personal honor. Training begins before the sun fully rises. Her women practice agility, disguise, infiltration, and the art of observation. Every movement is exact, honed through repetition, discipline, and an understanding that failure may carry consequences far beyond the individual, affecting families, clans, and the delicate web of alliances in the region. Kayom teaches not only physical skill, but strategy, intelligence gathering, and the subtle manipulation of perception. Her operatives learn to move unseen, to observe without being detected, and to influence outcomes through deftly applied knowledge and courage. In this hidden world, women wield power that is invisible to the broader society yet deeply impactful, shaping the political and military landscape through silent, decisive action. Her daily life is a blend of vigilance, planning, and execution. She observes, analyzes, and anticipates movements of enemies and allies alike, instilling a sense of calm determination in her operatives. The forest, the village, and even the bustling streets of towns become her classroom, her arena, and her canvas, where subtlety and skill determine success. Evening brings reflection and quiet meditation. Kyom sits in a secluded grove, her mind replaying the day's events, evaluating successes and anticipating future challenges. The soft rustle of leaves, the distant cry of night birds, and the gentle flow of a stream accompany her thoughts, aligning her spirit with the rhythms of nature and the subtle currents of human behavior. As night falls, the kunoichi rest within safe havens, their breathing steady, their bodies ready for the tasks that may come with the next dawn. Kyom herself rests lightly, alert yet serene, embodying resilience, intelligence, and quiet authority. In this meditative state, she exemplifies the rare pathways through which women could influence warfare, politics, and espionage, blending courage, skill, and subtlety in a manner that defies societal expectation while preserving honor and duty. The legacy of Machisuki Kyom and her kunoichi is one of empowerment through skill, strategic insight, and courage. They move unseen, yet their impact resonates throughout history, a testament to the quiet, formidable power of women who navigate shadowed paths to shape events, protect families, and assert agency in a world that seeks to confine them. The morning sun rises slowly over the wooden rooftops of the village, casting long, gentle shadows across the earthen floors where women prepare for the day. Among them, a young mother rests quietly, her hands pressed over the soft swell of her abdomen, feeling the subtle movements of life within her. Pregnancy in feudal Japan is a quiet blend of hope and peril, a delicate balance between anticipation and the ever-present risks that accompany bringing life into the world. Her body carries generations of expectation, her womb the vessel through which lineage, honor, and family continuity flow. Every movement is measured, every breath mindful, for the dangers of childbirth are real, and medical knowledge remains limited. She understands the fragility of life, her own, and that of the child she nurtures, and she moves through the day with careful deliberation, blending caution with the necessary labors of household and family. Attendants and midwives prepare herbs, soap cloths, and ready tools with care and ritual, honoring the sacred act that is both ordinary and profound. The community, though silent, supports the mother in small, meaningful ways. Quiet presence, soft words of encouragement, and shared knowledge of the cycles of labor that have sustained life for generations. As the day unfolds, she contemplates the realities of maternity, the pain, the uncertainty, the tireless endurance required, and the profound love that shapes her every action. Her mind travels across generations of women who came before, recalling the lessons of endurance, resourcefulness, and courage that define the maternal path in this era. Pregnancy is not merely a biological process. It is a meditation on responsibility, continuity, and the silent heroism of women whose lives are intertwined with the fate of families, communities, and society itself. Evening descends, lanterns casting soft, golden light across the simple room. The mother rests upon a futon, her breathing slow and rhythmic, attuned to the subtle movements within her womb. She reflects on the delicate balance of anticipation and preparation, her heart steady, her mind aware of the sacred responsibility she carries. As night embraces her, the household settles into quiet calm. The soft rustle of bedding, the distant sounds of nocturnal creatures, and the gentle glow of lamps create a cocoon of serenity. In this meditative state, she embodies resilience, courage, and the enduring strength of women in feudal Japan, navigating the profound journey of pregnancy and childbirth with dignity, mindfulness, and quiet fortitude. The legacy of these moments is invisible yet enduring, a testament to the courage, love, and determination that shapes life itself, generation after generation, in the hands of women who endure, nurture, and sustain the heartbeat of society. The first light of dawn stretches over fields and castles alike, illuminating two worlds separated by social rank yet bound by the shared realities of female experience. In the village, peasant women rise with the sun, their bodies bent with the weight of labor, their hands immersed in soil, water, and fire, tending both fields and household. In the samurai residence, wives awaken within wooden walls adorned with lacquer and silk, preparing the home with meticulous care, managing servants, and ensuring the smooth functioning of the household. Though their surroundings differ, both endure lives defined by expectation, duty, and gendered limitations. For the peasant woman, daily life is relentless physical labor, planting and harvesting rice, tending livestock, gathering firewood, and maintaining the home. Her children accompany her, learning the rhythm of toil from dawn to dusk, and the dangers of infancy and maternal risk shadow her every movement. The samurai wife's labor is subtler, yet equally demanding in its own right. She oversees the household staff, instructs children in manners and education, prepares for the arrival of guests, and maintains the honor and reputation of her family. Though her work is less physically exhausting, it is mentally exacting, requiring constant attention to decorum, propriety, and social expectation. In both spheres, motherhood dominates identity. The peasant woman bears and nurtures children while managing grueling physical tasks, her resilience tested by fatigue, hunger, and the fragility of life. The samurai wife, meanwhile, cultivates her children's intellect, moral character, and social aptitude, ensuring they embody the virtues expected by their social class. Social mobility and influence diverge sharply along class lines. Peasant women find agency in shared labor, communal knowledge, and the endurance of hardship, their influence immediate yet localized. Samurai wives navigate power through subtle instruction, household management, and connections forged within elite social networks, their influence often invisible yet capable of shaping alliances and family legacy. Despite these differences, a common thread persists. Women embody resilience, adaptability, and quiet agency. They navigate physical toil, social expectation, and personal sacrifice with grace, modeling endurance and intelligence that sustains both family and society. As evening falls, the village and castle alike settle into calm. The peasant woman kneels quietly, observing her children and reflecting on the day's labors. The samurai wife pauses in meditation, reviewing household order and the moral guidance of her offspring. In both cases, the rhythm of breath, reflection, and responsibility becomes a meditative practice, aligning body and mind with the duties of life, the continuity of tradition, and the enduring strength of women across classes. As sleep embraces both worlds, the night resonates with quiet fortitude, a testament to women's perseverance, intelligence, and unyielding dedication, whether in the fields or within the refined walls of the samurai household. The morning sun rises softly over the fortified estates of the samurai, casting long, golden shadows across courtyards, gardens, and dojo spaces where discipline and duty converge. Within these walls, young samurai women begin their daily instruction, guided by mothers, elder sisters, and experienced tutors. Their education is rigorous, blending domestic management, etiquette, literacy, poetry, and, for some, martial training, a preparation for both societal expectation and the occasional necessity of defense. From the earliest hours, girls learn the importance of decorum, humility, and observation. They memorize etiquette, practice calligraphy, and study literature, not merely as scholastic pursuit, but as a reflection of culture, refinement, and the honor of their household. Through repetition and careful guidance, they internalize lessons in patience, attention to detail, and the subtle influence of presence, learning that knowledge is a tool of both personal development and family prestige. For those with martial instruction, mornings are spent practicing archery, swordplay, and defensive maneuvers. The movements are precise, deliberate, and measured, each strike and stance refined over countless repetitions. This training is not for open battle, but for self-protection and household defense, instilling a sense of discipline, awareness, and inner strength that complements their domestic and intellectual responsibilities. Their mothers, often women of experience and insight, guide them not only in skill but in character. Lessons in loyalty, strategy, and observation are interwoven with moral guidance and reflection, shaping young women into capable, resilient individuals who can navigate the complexities of samurai life with grace and authority. As the day unfolds, education continues through conversation, poetry, and observation of household management. Girls learn to anticipate needs, negotiate subtle social dynamics, and contribute to the smooth functioning of the estate. Each lesson reinforces both competence and the quiet assertion of agency within the parameters of societal expectation. Evening descends upon the estate, lanterns casting a soft glow over training halls and chambers. The young samurai women pause, breathing deeply, reflecting on the skills and knowledge acquired throughout the day. Meditation and contemplation align mind and body, reinforcing discipline, awareness, and the enduring connection between learning and personal strength. As night envelopes the household, the women rest, their hearts steady, their bodies at ease, and their minds prepared for the challenges and responsibilities that await with the dawn. Through education, training, and reflection, samurai women cultivate resilience, wisdom, and quiet power, a balance of intellect, skill, and grace that equips them to navigate both the domestic and social arenas of feudal Japan with poise and competence. The sun rises softly over the quiet courtyards of samurai estates, its light filtering through shoji screens to illuminate rooms prepared with meticulous care. Within these walls, young women are guided through the delicate preparations that precede marriage, a life-altering passage orchestrated not by desire, but by family strategy, alliance, and duty. In feudal Japan, marriage is rarely a matter of personal choice. Women are instruments of social and political alignment, their unions carefully arranged to strengthen bonds between clans, consolidate wealth, or secure influence. From the first moment, a girl is taught the responsibilities, behaviors, and expectations that will define her marital life: obedience, decorum, and the unwavering maintenance of household honor. The bride prepares her attire, every fold of silk measured, every ornament precisely placed, each element reflecting the dignity and status of both her family and that of her future husband. Her hands tremble slightly, not from fear alone, but from the weight of centuries of expectation and the awareness that her life, her voice, and her agency will be subsumed into a larger social design. Ceremonies unfold with solemnity, precise ritual, and the presence of families whose eyes measure decorum, allegiance, and adherence to tradition. The bride bows repeatedly, her voice quiet, her gestures controlled, embodying both respect and submission, the qualities demanded by a society where female influence is often indirect and subtle. Within her new household, the young wife begins her duties immediately. She learns the rhythms of domestic management, oversees servants, and ensures that every corner of the home reflects order, cleanliness, and propriety. Her education, training, and social grooming now converge into the practical application of authority tempered by discretion, shaping the household in accordance with her husband's family and clan expectations. Motherhood is anticipated from the outset. Producing heirs, particularly sons, becomes central to her role, intertwining personal identity with social expectation. The cycles of childbirth, child-rearing, and domestic management define the contours of her daily life, her achievements measured not in personal ambition, but in the fulfillment of duty and the continuation of lineage. Evening descends, and the bride-turned-wife reflects quietly on her new world. Her breath slows, her mind adapts to responsibilities, and her body moves with practiced grace through the rituals of household management. In moments of stillness, she contemplates her position, the challenges she faces, and the subtle ways she can exert influence, even within the constraints imposed upon her. As sleep embraces the household, she rests with both caution and quiet determination. Marriage in feudal Japan is a complex interplay of duty, expectation, and opportunity, a space where women navigate the fine balance between submission, resilience, and subtle assertion of agency. Through endurance, intelligence, and grace, they maintain the honor of their families while carving private spaces of influence, shaping not only their households but the delicate web of social and political alliances that define their world. The early light of dawn glimmers softly over the wooden homes of feudal Japan, illuminating the quiet spaces where women rise to meet a day shaped by duty, expectation, and unyielding societal norms. From the moment a girl reaches maturity, her body becomes not only her own but an instrument through which family continuity, honor, and social obligation are measured. Pregnancy, childbirth, and the bearing of heirs are not personal choices. They are responsibilities assigned by birth, reinforced by custom, and enforced by both family and social expectation. Women move through their days with the quiet understanding that their value, in the eyes of society, is intertwined with fertility, endurance, and the capacity to maintain family lineage. Within the home, a mother prepares for the arrival of yet another child, her body a vessel of both life and labor. Medical knowledge is limited, remedies and care are guided by tradition, intuition, and herbs, yet risks persist, constant and unavoidable. The physical toll is immense, as repeated pregnancies, the exertions of daily labor, and the pressures of household management combine into an unrelenting rhythm of responsibility. A woman's agency over her own body is minimal. Contraception is rare, refusal of sexual relations is culturally unacceptable, and the expectation to produce male heirs remains a persistent demand. Her reproductive role is both a marker of social compliance and a measure of her worth, an intimate intersection of biology, culture, and gendered expectation. In moments of quiet reflection, women contemplate the paradox of life-giving power and limited autonomy. They nurture, endure, and protect, yet within the confines of expectation and social oversight, their choices remain constrained. Still, subtle acts of agency emerge: the cultivation of wisdom, the exercise of knowledge, and the careful navigation of relationships within the household and beyond. Evening descends with a muted glow, and women rest briefly, pausing from the cycles of labor, anticipation, and preparation. The soft rustle of curtains, the quiet breath of children, and the flicker of lantern light create a meditative environment, allowing reflection, resilience, and internal fortitude to flourish even amidst the weight of expectation. As night embraces the household, women embody quiet courage and enduring strength. Their lives are a continuous negotiation between duty, survival, and subtle self-determination, where each act of care, endurance, and insight asserts presence within a structure designed to confine them. Through this rhythm of life, they sustain families, uphold traditions, and quietly challenge the boundaries imposed upon them, weaving resilience, wisdom, and agency into the fabric of feudal society. The morning sun bathes Kamakura in a soft, golden light, illuminating the wooden corridors and ceremonial halls where history quietly unfolds under the watchful eye of one extraordinary woman. Hojo Masako, known to some as the nun shogun, occupies a space few women of her time could ever imagine, a position of political influence and authority that subtly, yet powerfully, shapes the destiny of the shogunate. Though cloaked in the spiritual identity of a nun, Masako's mind and presence remain deeply engaged with the affairs of governance. She moves with deliberate grace through her chambers, reviewing correspondence, weighing alliances, and anticipating the subtle maneuvers of rival clans. Her counsel is sought, her judgment respected, and her strategic insight quietly directs decisions that resonate far beyond her immediate surroundings. Masako's influence is exercised not through overt command, but through persuasion, foresight, and the cultivation of relationships. She advises shoguns, nurtures loyalty among retainers, and orchestrates negotiations with a keen understanding of human nature and political necessity. Her authority is as much a product of intellect and patience as it is of social position, demonstrating the rare avenues through which women could assert power within a patriarchal system. Within the halls of Kamakura, Masako's presence is felt in silence and respect. Servants, advisors, and warriors alike recognize her capacity to shape outcomes through subtle yet decisive interventions. She navigates a world where appearances matter, where honor governs action, and where the delicate balance of power requires both restraint and determination. Even in private moments, Masako contemplates the weight of her responsibilities. Her reflection is infused with awareness of her family's legacy, the welfare of the shogunate, and the broader implications of each decision she influences. In these quiet hours, she aligns strategy with intuition, intellect with patience, and ambition with propriety, a seamless integration of skill, reflection, and authority. As evening descends and lanterns glow softly in the corridors, Masako kneels in meditation, her mind attuned to both spiritual practice and worldly affairs. The gentle cadence of her breathing mirrors the rhythm of thought and consideration, a meditation on influence, resilience, and the enduring power of intellect. Hojo Masako's life embodies the extraordinary potential of women who navigate societal constraints with wisdom, courage, and strategy. Through subtle action, steadfast determination, and thoughtful guidance, she leaves an indelible mark on Japanese history, a testament to the rare, transformative agency that women could wield even within the rigid structures of feudal society. The first light of dawn stretches gently across the rice paddies and village lanes, illuminating small homes of clay, wood, and thatch. Among them, peasant women rise before the sun, their bodies already familiar with the steady rhythm of labor that defines each day. Hands roughened by soil and toil, they move with practiced grace, balancing the demands of fields, livestock, and household while nurturing the fragile lives of their children. Each day is measured in repetitive tasks: planting, watering, harvesting, preparing meals, mending garments, and tending the sick. Yet within this routine emerges a quiet, enduring strength. The women support each other, exchanging advice, assisting with childbirth, sharing food, and passing down knowledge essential for survival. In these small acts, bonds form, weaving resilience into the fabric of the community, sustaining both individuals and families through the harsh realities of feudal life. Pregnancy and motherhood are constant companions, bringing joy, exhaustion, and risk. The ever-present danger of illness, infant mortality, and physical strain underscores the extraordinary courage of these women. Despite hardship, they persist, drawing strength from the rhythm of nature, the shared experience of labor, and the quiet pride in sustaining life and lineage. Beyond physical endurance, peasant women cultivate wisdom, observation, and adaptability. They navigate social dynamics within the village, mediate disputes, and offer guidance to younger generations, subtly influencing the community's cohesion and continuity. Their agency, though rarely recognized in historical texts, is vital, sustaining the village, nurturing future generations, and ensuring the survival of essential cultural and agricultural practices. Evening descends, painting the sky in soft hues of amber and lilac, and women return to their homes, weary yet unwavering. They tend fires, prepare simple meals, and ensure that their children rest safely, creating spaces of calm amidst the exhaustion of the day. Quiet reflection accompanies these moments, acknowledgement of endurance, contemplation of daily challenges, and the silent assertion of presence, strength, and resilience. As night envelopes the village, the rhythm of breathing, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the soft sounds of distant animals create a serene backdrop. Peasant women close their eyes, allowing the body to rest while the spirit carries the quiet fortitude cultivated through generations. In this meditative stillness, their resilience resonates, a testament to the enduring strength, wisdom, and communal bonds that sustain life and culture in feudal Japan. The soft light of dawn spills gently across Edo's streets, lanterns fading as the city awakens to the quiet hum of daily life. Amidst this rhythm, women of creativity navigate spaces traditionally confined, finding subtle, transformative ways to express thought, emotion, and perspective through art. Through dance, music, theater, and poetry, they carve paths of influence, challenging norms and inspiring reflection in audiences both humble and noble. Okuni no Akuni's legacy continues to resonate. Kabuki theater becomes a living testament to the power of artistic expression as a form of subtle resistance. Women performers, trained in discipline, grace, and wit, step onto stages with movements carefully choreographed, their gestures imbued with meaning and layered with cultural commentary. Through their artistry, they navigate societal expectation, conveying critiques, humor, and social reflection while maintaining the veil of performance, a safe space for innovation and subtle subversion. Theatrical spaces offer more than entertainment. They become sites of influence, education, and communal reflection. Audiences absorb lessons of virtue, folly, love, and loyalty, often encountering perspectives they would not witness in daily life. Women, once invisible in the corridors of power, now wield influence through creativity, shifting perceptions and subtly redefining the boundaries of possibility within their society. In the quiet hours of rehearsal, women cultivate skill and self-discipline. They practice gestures, refine vocal tones, memorize lines, and embody characters that convey more than story, embodying critique, insight, and resilience. Each performance becomes an act of presence, a meditation on control, expression, and the quiet assertion of identity within constraints designed to limit voice and action. As night descends over Edo, the streets quiet and the theater lights dim, the women rest, their minds alive with reflection on art, influence, and purpose. The gentle cadence of breathing mirrors the rhythm of their thoughts, aligning creativity with contemplation, skill with resilience, and expression with quiet authority. Through the lens of performing arts, women assert subtle power, shaping culture and thought while navigating expectation and limitation. Their work embodies courage, intellect, and patience, a living, breathing testament to the transformative potential of art in the hands of those who dare to imagine, create, and influence. Even as the city sleeps, their legacy whispers softly through the streets and stages, a quiet reminder that culture, expression, and subtle subversion are pathways for enduring female influence in feudal Japan. The early morning mist drifts softly over temple roofs, curling around the wooden eaves of secluded Buddhist nunneries hidden amidst bamboo groves and quiet hills. Here, the rhythm of life is slow, measured, and meditative, a stark contrast to the demands of marriage, household labor, and societal expectation that define most women's lives in feudal Japan. Within these walls, women find refuge, a space where intellect, spirituality, and leadership converge. Nuns rise with the sun, moving quietly through meditation halls, chanting sutras, and attending to the daily upkeep of their sacred spaces. Their days are filled with reflection, study, and teaching, offering an alternative path to the rigid structures of domestic and marital duty that dominate the lives of other women. Education thrives in these spiritual enclaves. Women study Buddhist texts, philosophy, and poetry, cultivating knowledge that is rare for their time. They engage in intellectual discourse, debate, and spiritual mentorship, refining wisdom and judgment while preserving the continuity of religious and cultural traditions. Leadership is both practiced and expected. Abbesses and senior nuns guide communities, manage resources, and oversee rituals, embodying a form of authority recognized and respected within the spiritual and sometimes even secular spheres. In this environment, women wield influence that extends beyond the convent walls, affecting local communities, cultural practices, and occasionally political matters in subtle but meaningful ways. The physical spaces themselves, serene gardens, meditation halls, and simple living quarters, reinforce a life of calm reflection and measured action. Women move with grace and attentiveness, their presence both quiet and commanding, a testament to discipline, focus, and inner strength cultivated over years of devotion and practice. Evening descends, and the soft glow of lanterns illuminates prayer halls and corridors. Nuns sit in quiet meditation, their breathing steady, minds focused, and hearts aligned with both spiritual purpose and practical wisdom. The rhythm of their day, punctuated by prayer, contemplation, and service, fosters resilience, agency, and a profound sense of continuity within a world that often limits women's choices. In these nunneries, women discover autonomy, intellectual growth, and a space for leadership. Their lives reveal an alternative dimension of female power in feudal Japan, one grounded not in physical labor or household management, but in wisdom, reflection, spiritual authority, and quiet, enduring influence. As night deepens, the temple is calm, filled only with the soft whisper of wind through bamboo and the gentle cadence of prayer. Women rest with minds enriched, spirits fortified, and presence affirmed, embodying a resilience and agency that continues to inspire beyond the confines of walls and centuries. The sun sets slowly over quiet villages and samurai estates alike, casting long, soft shadows that stretch across wooden floors and earthen paths. In these moments of twilight, women who have lived lives of duty, labor, and resilience move gently into the reflections of old age, where strength remains, but vulnerability becomes ever more present. Their bodies, once tireless in the fields, in households, and in training halls, now demand gentleness, care, and measured movement. Peasant women, having borne children, tended crops, and endured the relentless labor of survival, find support in younger relatives or community networks. Samurai wives, whose days were filled with the precision of household management, education, and etiquette, grow dependent on sons, daughters, or attendants to maintain their dignity and comfort. Even in this stage of life, women reflect on the fullness of their experiences, the births they witnessed, the children they nurtured, the households they shaped, and the subtle influences they exerted. Memory becomes both companion and teacher, offering insight, patience, and understanding forged through decades of endurance and careful observation. Socially, aging women occupy a space of respect, though often tinged with dependence. Their wisdom is sought for guidance, their counsel valued in quiet conversations, yet their autonomy is increasingly mediated by family structures and societal expectation. Religion, too, offers refuge. Older women may seek solace in nunneries or temples, finding spiritual fulfillment, community, and a space for reflection that continues to nurture agency and influence. Evening shadows deepen, the wind rustling softly through trees and bamboo groves. Women sit quietly by fires, recalling the tapestry of their lives, the hardships endured, the resilience displayed, the moments of quiet triumph, and the acts of care that sustained family and community. Breath slows, muscles relax, and a meditative serenity settles over the household as both women and the world around them prepare for rest. Sleep arrives gently, carrying the weight of experience and the quiet comfort of reflection. In these hours, the lives of women resonate beyond labor and expectation, their endurance, wisdom, and subtle influence leaving imprints upon families, communities, and the fabric of society itself. Old age, while marked by vulnerability and dependence, becomes a period of contemplative strength, a final chapter of quiet dignity, reflection, and lasting legacy, a testament to the resilience and enduring presence of women in feudal Japan. The moon rises over misty hills and quiet villages, casting pale silver light upon the hidden training grounds where extraordinary women move with silence, precision, and purpose. Here, Machisuki Kayom cultivates her network of kunoichi, female warriors and spies trained in the delicate balance of stealth, strategy, and survival. From the first hours of training, young women learn to navigate shadows, master silent movement, and develop acute observation skills. Each gesture, each glance, and each calculated step is part of a larger choreography of espionage, a discipline that merges physical prowess with mental acuity. Kayom emphasizes intelligence, discretion, and patience, teaching that power does not always reside in brute strength, but in subtlety, perception, and careful action. Within this secret world, women acquire agency previously denied in broader society. They influence political outcomes, gather critical intelligence, and contribute materially to the survival and success of their clans. Their impact, though largely invisible, reverberates through feudal hierarchies, demonstrating that women can navigate and manipulate spaces traditionally reserved for men. Daily life in the kunoichi network balances rigorous physical training with mental and strategic education. Young women memorize routes, codes, and alliances, refine martial skills, and learn to read the nuances of human behavior. Confidence, patience, and self-discipline are cultivated in equal measure, shaping warriors capable of acting decisively, thoughtfully, and effectively. Evenings are quiet and reflective, spent in meditation or discussing lessons, strategies, and observations. Kayom guides them not only in skill but in character, teaching loyalty, courage, adaptability, and moral discernment. The network becomes a space where women's intellect, intuition, and physical ability converge, forming a potent combination of power, resilience, and subtle influence. As night deepens, the hills and forests fall silent, and the kunoichi rest in serene meditation, their breathing synchronized with the quiet rhythm of the world around them. Their minds sharpen, their bodies recover, and their spirit aligns with purpose, strategy, and the quiet assertion of agency within a constrained society. Through Machisuki Kayom's vision and guidance, these exceptional women demonstrate that courage, intellect, and skill transcend societal boundaries. They embody resilience, discipline, and quiet defiance, a living testament to the diverse ways women navigated, influenced, and sometimes transformed the rigid structures of feudal Japan. Dawn breaks softly over the patchwork of villages, castles, and samurai estates, painting the world in delicate hues of gold and rose. In feudal Japan, a woman's life is shaped by the interplay of class, duty, and the subtle exercise of resilience, a web of expectation that determines her roles, responsibilities, and possibilities from birth onward. Peasant women rise before the sun, their bodies attuned to the rhythm of the land. They toil endlessly in rice paddies, tend livestock, and manage households while nurturing children and supporting the broader community. Their resilience is forged through physical labor, communal bonds, and the quiet determination to sustain life amid poverty, scarcity, and social limitations. In contrast, samurai women navigate the structured intricacies of status and etiquette. Their days blend domestic management, education, and, for some, martial training. While spared the grueling labor of the fields, they shoulder the weight of family honor, strategic alliances, and meticulous attention to social protocol. Their strength lies not only in skill or intellect but in the subtle, enduring presence that shapes household and clan life. Across classes, the constant thread is duty, a defining principle that governs action, behavior, and decision-making. A woman's identity is intertwined with her obligations, whether nurturing children, managing estates, or sustaining social networks. Yet within these constraints, agency emerges, quiet acts of wisdom, foresight, and influence that ripple outward, leaving lasting impact despite societal limitations. Even in moments of rest, women reflect on the balance of obligation and selfhood. They contemplate past labor, successes, failures, and the small victories of endurance and strategic subtlety. Breath slows, muscles relax, and minds settle into meditation, aligning body, spirit, and insight. As night deepens, lanterns flicker across quiet villages and estates, and the world rests under a canopy of stars. Women, regardless of class, embody resilience and adaptability, demonstrating that strength manifests in both visible and hidden forms. Through labor, intelligence, endurance, and subtle influence, they sustain families, communities, and traditions, their lives quietly shaping the fabric of society across generations. The intersections of class, duty, and resilience reveal a profound truth. Women, though constrained by circumstance and expectation, persist in asserting presence, cultivating strength, and preserving continuity. Their stories, though often unrecorded, resonate as a testament to endurance, subtle power, and the enduring human capacity to navigate and transform even the most rigid of structures. The soft light of dawn filters through wooden lattice windows, illuminating scrolls, inkstones, and carefully bound books arranged with deliberate care. In feudal Japan, education is a privilege not granted to all, yet for women who access literacy and learning, it becomes a quiet instrument of agency, empowerment, and influence. Young girls of samurai and elite families study diligently under the guidance of mothers, elder sisters, and tutors. Calligraphy, poetry, etiquette, and philosophical texts are woven into their daily routines, each lesson reinforcing both intellect and character. Education shapes not only knowledge but perception, teaching women to observe carefully, think critically, and navigate complex social hierarchies with discernment and grace. Literacy opens doors to influence. Through letters, poetry, and correspondence, women engage with family, allies, and occasionally political figures. Their words, carefully chosen and artfully composed, can sway opinion, convey subtle critique, or preserve the honor and legacy of their household. Even without formal power, literacy grants a voice, a means to participate in the shaping of events, decisions, and relationships within their constrained spheres. Education is also a tool of reflection and personal growth. Women immerse themselves in literature, historical accounts, and moral teachings, cultivating empathy, wisdom, and insight. These skills inform not only household management but strategic thinking, social navigation, and, in rare cases, political or cultural influence that echoes beyond domestic walls. For peasant women, education may be informal, passed down orally through storytelling, communal knowledge, and practical instruction. Yet even in these settings, the ability to read subtle signs, understand medicinal practices, and convey experience carries power, resilience, and adaptability, shaping daily life and community cohesion. Evening settles softly over the homes and estates, lantern light dancing across papers and scrolls. Women pause to reflect on the knowledge gained, the skills honed, and the quiet authority embedded in literacy and learning. Breath slows, eyes close gently, and the mind absorbs lessons while the body rests, a harmony of thought, reflection, and contemplation. Through education and literacy, women assert subtle yet enduring influence, navigating societal constraints with intellect, foresight, and grace. Their learning becomes a form of quiet rebellion, empowerment, and legacy, a living testament to the capacity of knowledge to shape life, relationships, and history, even in worlds that seek to limit them. The gentle morning mist drifts over temple roofs and village shrines, softening the lines of wooden architecture and illuminating sacred grounds with a serene, almost ethereal light. Within these spaces, women step quietly, their movements measured, reverent, and intentional, a reflection of centuries of devotion, discipline, and spiritual engagement. For many women in feudal Japan, religious practice offers more than solace. It provides authority, influence, and a structured path to leadership. Abbesses and senior nuns guide spiritual communities, instruct younger women, and oversee rituals that sustain both religious and social order. Their voices, calm yet firm, shape not only prayers and ceremonies but also the moral and practical guidance of those who seek their counsel. Rituals, chanting, and meditation are performed with precision and devotion, creating rhythms that unify community and nurture continuity. Through teaching, women transmit knowledge of scripture, ethics, and social norms, preserving cultural memory and ensuring that generations retain the wisdom of their predecessors. Beyond the walls of temples and nunneries, women's spiritual authority often extends into local communities. Villagers seek guidance for disputes, blessings for harvests, and counsel in times of crisis. In these interactions, women wield influence that transcends domestic constraints, their moral and spiritual insight becoming an essential thread in the social fabric of feudal Japan. Evening descends with lanterns casting soft, flickering light on stone pathways and wooden halls. Women pause in contemplation, observing the subtle interplay of duty, devotion, and guidance. Their breaths slow, minds reflect, and the day's labors, both spiritual and administrative, settle into a harmonious rhythm, preparing the body and spirit for restorative rest. In quiet moments, women reflect on the delicate balance of humility and authority, devotion and leadership. Through consistent practice, wisdom, and moral guidance, they embody resilience, agency, and enduring presence, demonstrating that spiritual life offers both refuge and opportunity for influence within a rigidly structured society. As night deepens, temple bells toll softly in the distance, and women rest within their sacred spaces, minds aligned with purpose and heart attuned to reflection. Their lives reveal the quiet power of faith, discipline, and leadership, a testament to how religious practice provided women with agency, respect, and the ability to shape both spiritual and communal life in feudal Japan. The soft light of morning filters through paper screens, illuminating inked scrolls, delicate ceramics, and finely arranged ikebana flowers. In the quiet spaces of both humble homes and stately samurai residences, women engage in the careful preservation of art, poetry, and ceremonial traditions, practices that weave the threads of culture, identity, and memory across generations. Through calligraphy, women express thought, emotion, and reflection. The careful brush strokes convey not only literary skill but subtle insight into morality, philosophy, and personal experience. Poetry, particularly waka and tanka, provides a medium for contemplation, introspection, and gentle influence, allowing women to participate in cultural discourse despite the restrictions imposed by society. Ceremonial arts, from tea preparation to seasonal rituals, offer a tangible connection to both aesthetic values and social structure. Women meticulously prepare each detail, guiding ceremonies with grace and precision, ensuring that tradition is honored and social harmony is maintained. In these acts, creativity, discipline, and cultural knowledge converge, granting women a quiet authority that shapes the rhythms of social and familial life. Even within restrictive structures, women find ways to teach, mentor, and inspire. Daughters and younger relatives observe, learn, and participate, absorbing both technique and philosophy. In these moments, knowledge flows subtly, preserving continuity, cultivating refinement, and fostering resilience across generations. As evening falls, lantern light casts gentle shadows over scrolls, utensils, and floral arrangements. Women pause to reflect on the careful work of the day, the poems written, the rituals performed, the artistry preserved, and the quiet influence they have imparted. Breath slows, muscles relax, and a meditative calm settles, aligning mind, body, and spirit in preparation for restorative sleep. Through arts, poetry, and ceremonial practice, women assert both presence and agency, shaping culture, preserving heritage, and guiding future generations. Their contributions, though often subtle and unheralded, ripple across time, ensuring that the wisdom, beauty, and resilience of feudal Japanese society are nurtured and sustained. The first light of dawn drifts gently through the wooden slats of village homes and samurai estates alike, painting the world in muted gold and soft amber. In these quiet spaces, women cultivate networks of trust, mentorship, and mutual support, connections that sustain life, transmit knowledge, and quietly influence society across generations. These networks often form in domestic spaces, communal work areas, and religious settings, where women exchange advice, offer guidance, and share resources. From peasant villages to aristocratic households, these relationships provide practical support, emotional solace, and opportunities to exercise subtle authority. Through the simple acts of conversation, shared labor, or collaborative teaching, women build webs of influence that extend beyond immediate families. Knowledge of herbs, child-rearing practices, household management, and cultural arts flows along these networks, ensuring that crucial skills and wisdom endure despite societal constraints. Even within strict patriarchal structures, female relationships create spaces of empowerment. Elder women mentor the young, passing on both practical skills and social strategies for navigating expectations. Marriage alliances, domestic collaboration, and religious communities all become arenas where women exert quiet but meaningful influence through collective strength and shared wisdom. As the sun rises higher, casting warmth across fields and streets, these connections sustain resilience, fortify identity, and preserve cultural continuity. Even in moments of hardship, the knowledge that one is supported, guided, and connected allows women to endure, adapt, and subtly shape the social fabric around them. Evening returns with gentle shadows, fires crackling softly within homes. Women gather, speak quietly, or share stories of past experiences. Breath slows, thoughts settle, and the rhythm of reflection blends with rest, reinforcing the bonds of trust, care, and community that define these networks. In this hidden web of relationships, women find agency, resilience, and continuity. Though often unseen and unrecorded, these connections are a quiet testament to the enduring power of collaboration, mentorship, and shared experience, shaping lives, communities, and the broader history of feudal Japan. The morning light filters softly through sliding shoji doors, illuminating rooms where women prepare for a life largely determined by family, duty, and societal expectation. Marriage, in feudal Japan, is rarely a choice. It is a carefully orchestrated arrangement, often designed to strengthen alliances, secure resources, or maintain social status. Yet within these boundaries, women find subtle ways to negotiate, influence, and, at times, quietly resist the roles imposed upon them. From the earliest moments of betrothal, women learn to navigate the delicate balance of obedience, diplomacy, and personal interest. They study the temperament of their future husbands, observe family dynamics, and identify opportunities where tactful action can protect their children, household, or personal well-being. Inside the household, marriage becomes both constraint and canvas. Women manage domestic affairs, oversee servants, and ensure the smooth operation of daily life, all while adhering to the strict codes of behavior dictated by tradition. Yet even in this structured environment, small acts of subtle defiance, a carefully chosen word, a discreet maneuver in household management, or the preservation of personal ritual become assertions of presence and agency. Pregnancy and child-rearing are central to a woman's life after marriage, yet these too offer moments of negotiation and quiet strength. Women advocate for the health of their children, the order of their household, and the respect of their families, sometimes subtly influencing decisions that could have long-term consequences. Even in the evenings, as lantern light softens and the household quiets, women reflect on the balance of duty, influence, and survival. Breath slows, muscles relax, and the mind contemplates the intricate dance of power, expectation, and subtle resistance that defines married life. Through negotiation, observation, and discreet action, women assert agency within rigid structures, shaping not only their own experiences but also the life and legacy of their families. Marriage, though framed as duty and obligation, becomes a site of quiet strategy, resilience, and enduring strength, a testament to the ingenuity and patience of women navigating a world designed to limit their voice. The soft hush of morning fills the wooden rooms of homes and estates, mingling with the faint scent of incense and the quiet murmur of family life. For women in feudal Japan, pregnancy is both a sacred duty and a profound challenge, a journey marked by hope, anxiety, and the relentless demands of expectation. From the earliest signs of conception, women become acutely aware of the fragile balance between life and survival. Medical knowledge is limited, and the care they receive is shaped as much by tradition as by necessity. Families and communities offer guidance, herbal remedies, and ritual support, yet each birth carries the ever-present weight of uncertainty. Throughout pregnancy, women navigate physical strain, emotional tension, and social scrutiny. The desire to bear healthy sons is emphasized repeatedly, linking a woman's worth to her capacity for reproduction. Yet even within this pressure, women cultivate resilience, finding strength in preparation, ritual, and the quiet support of female networks, mothers, sisters, and friends who share knowledge, wisdom, and reassurance. Childbirth itself is an intense and perilous moment. Labor is long, exhausting, and fraught with risk, attended by midwives who blend traditional techniques, experience, and instinct to guide the process. Women draw upon every reserve of physical endurance, mental fortitude, and spiritual focus to navigate this threshold between life and potential tragedy. After birth, the responsibilities multiply. Infant care, feeding, and nurturing combine with continued domestic labor, and the cycles of pregnancy may return again, unrelenting over the years. Even so, women adapt, observe, and create rhythms of care that sustain both family and community, balancing survival with tenderness, discipline with instinct. Evening descends with quiet reflection. A mother sits beside her child, cradling the fragile new life, breathing slowly, and observing the calm pulse of the household. In these moments, the full measure of maternal resilience reveals itself, the combination of strength, vigilance, compassion, and endurance that defines the core of women's lives in feudal Japan. Through pregnancy and childbirth, women embody courage, wisdom, and quiet fortitude, navigating peril, expectation, and responsibility with a grace that sustains life itself. Their resilience becomes a living testament to human endurance, maternal strength, and the enduring influence of women across generations. The morning sun rises softly over the dewy fields, casting a golden glow across the patchwork of rice paddies, vegetable gardens, and earthen pathways. For peasant women in feudal Japan, each day begins long before the first light, with a rhythm dictated by labor, necessity, and the endurance required to sustain family and community life. Women move with practiced precision, carrying baskets of water, tending crops, and guiding children as the household awakens. Their hands are calloused, their backs strong, and their minds attuned to the minute demands of farming, cooking, and domestic maintenance. From planting to harvest, every motion is deliberate, every task essential, every effort a contribution to the survival of their families. Household labor blends seamlessly with fieldwork. Women prepare meals over wood-fired stoves, weave textiles, mend clothing, and care for livestock, all while observing social expectations and maintaining harmony within extended family structures. Even the smallest duties are performed with attentiveness, awareness, and an unspoken pride in sustaining life and tradition. Children accompany their mothers into the fields, learning through observation, repetition, and gentle guidance. Skills of cultivation, domestic management, and communal cooperation are passed down quietly, ensuring continuity of knowledge, survival techniques, and cultural practices. Despite the relentless labor, moments of reflection and subtle joy emerge. The soft laughter of children, the fragrance of freshly tilled earth, and the rhythmic cadence of water flowing through paddies provide brief but meaningful solace. Women draw strength from community bonds, the support of fellow laborers, and the knowledge that their endurance shapes the life and future of those around them. As evening approaches, the sky deepens into shades of rose and indigo. Women return home, exhausted yet fulfilled, preparing simple meals, tending to children, and finally allowing themselves a moment of quiet reflection. Breath slows, muscles relax, and minds settle into a meditative state, harmonizing with the fading light and gentle sounds of the countryside. Through tireless labor, unwavering perseverance, and quiet fortitude, peasant women sustain life, culture, and community. Their endurance, though often unseen, is the invisible backbone of feudal Japanese society, a testament to resilience, adaptability, and the enduring strength of women who face the world with courage and grace. The sun rises over the high wooden walls of a samurai estate, illuminating carefully maintained gardens, ornate gates, and the disciplined routines of a household steeped in tradition. Within these walls, samurai wives move with grace, precision, and unwavering attention, overseeing the complex orchestration of domestic life while navigating the subtleties of social expectation. Their day begins before dawn, attending to household management, instructing servants, and ensuring that the clan's traditions, rituals, and reputation are upheld. From arranging meals to overseeing education, clothing, and etiquette, each task is both a duty and a subtle expression of influence. Through careful observation and thoughtful action, samurai wives guide the rhythm of family life, maintain harmony, and uphold the honor of their household. Education, cultural knowledge, and refined skills are central to their role. Women instruct younger daughters in etiquette, poetry, calligraphy, and household arts, ensuring that the lineage of wisdom, grace, and social acumen continues unbroken. Through these acts of teaching, they shape not only the immediate household but the social fabric of future generations. Even within the constraints of patriarchal structure, samurai wives exercise discrete power. They advise husbands on family matters, mediate conflicts, and subtly influence decisions related to marriage alliances, property management, and the welfare of their children. Their authority, though largely behind the scenes, is both enduring and essential, affecting outcomes in ways that often remain unseen to the wider world. As day gives way to evening, the household quiets, lanterns flicker across polished floors, and the women pause to reflect on their roles, achievements, and responsibilities. Breath slows, muscles relax, and the mind settles into a state of calm contemplation, aligning with the tranquil rhythm of the estate. Samurai wives embody a unique blend of discipline, resilience, intelligence, and subtle influence. Through meticulous management, cultural preservation, and quiet guidance, they maintain the honor, stability, and continuity of their households. Their lives reveal the intricate ways women navigate duty, expectation, and agency, shaping society not through overt power, but through consistent, thoughtful presence. The evening light softens over wooden stages and quiet riverbanks, where the early shadows of performance gather, carrying with them the whisper of transformation and creative daring. Okuni no Akuni steps lightly across the stage, her movements deliberate, graceful, and charged with a subtle, quiet audacity that challenges the expectations of the world around her. Kabuki, in its inception, becomes more than mere entertainment. It is a medium of expression, critique, and reflection, a space where societal norms can be observed, questioned, and reimagined through dance, music, and dramatic narrative. Okuni's artistry illuminates the possibilities of female agency within cultural spaces, revealing how creativity can serve as both voice and influence in a society that often restricts women's visibility and authority. Her performances are infused with poetry, elegance, and a nuanced understanding of human emotion and behavior. Through dramatic gestures, storytelling, and movement, women like Okuni convey layered meaning, subtly shaping perceptions of gender, class, and morality. Audiences are drawn not only to the spectacle but to the skill, intelligence, and expressive power that women bring to the stage, transforming public imagination. Behind the scenes, preparation is meticulous. Costumes are crafted with care, choreography is refined through repetition, and every gesture is calibrated for maximum impact and meaning. Through discipline, vision, and creativity, Okuni empowers herself and her performers, demonstrating the ways women navigate societal limitations by transforming spaces into arenas of innovation, influence, and subtle resistance. Evening deepens into night, lanterns flicker on the river's edge, and the quiet applause of memory resonates across the wooden planks of the stage. Women rest, minds reflecting on performance, craft, and the enduring power of art to shape thought, culture, and identity. Breath slows, bodies relax, and the spirit aligns with the rhythm of creation, imagination, and possibility. Okuni no Okuni and her pioneering work in kabuki illuminate the transformative potential of cultural engagement. Through artistry, performance, and daring creativity, women carve spaces of influence, preserve cultural memory, and assert presence in ways both subtle and profound. Their legacy resonates across generations, reminding us that even within constraint, the human spirit, intelligence, and creativity can flourish quietly, powerfully, and enduringly. As the night deepens and the world settles into quiet stillness, we take a moment to reflect on the lives we have witnessed, lives of courage, resilience, and quiet defiance. From the first cries of newborn girls, often undervalued and overlooked, to the elder women who guided households, communities, and spiritual practices, every story reveals the strength of the human spirit. We have walked alongside peasant women tending fields under the rising sun, feeling the weight of labor and the endurance of generations. We have observed samurai wives navigating the intricate balance of duty, honor, and subtle influence within grand estates, shaping the course of family and clan. We have witnessed exceptional women, artists, scholars, warriors, and spiritual leaders finding paths to agency, creativity, and leadership despite societal constraints. Through education, ritual, poetry, and performance, women preserved culture, transmitted knowledge, and subtly reshaped the world around them. Through endurance, empathy, and resilience, they sustained families, communities, and traditions. Their lives, though often unrecorded, left indelible marks on society, echoing across centuries in ways both visible and unseen. As we close this journey, let us honor the silent sacrifices, the quiet victories, and the enduring legacies of these remarkable women. May their stories remind us that courage is not always loud, influence is not always public, and strength is not always visible. It is in persistence, wisdom, creativity, and compassion, in the small acts of daily life and the quiet assertion of agency, that true power and legacy reside. Take a deep, gentle breath. Feel the calm of the night, the rhythm of history, and the quiet pulse of human resilience. May the memory of these women inspire reflection, gratitude, and a renewed appreciation for the courage and wisdom carried forward through generations. Thank you for journeying through the lives of women in feudal Japan. If you appreciated this story, consider liking the video, leaving a comment, and sharing these reflections so that the courage, strength, and legacy of these women continue to be honored and remembered. Rest now, in quiet peace, as history whispers softly through the night, carrying tales of endurance, wisdom, and humanity, gently lulling you towards serene, restorative sleep.